What up? How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Ryan.
Hey, it's your boy Easy. I was trying that
And
thing.
you are listening.
I was trying that thing that you that you do.
I was rolling.
You're
What?
rolling. I can't hear. I got delay. Goodness. I'm sorry. Here, try it again. Go again. I'll shut up.
You said you're gonna try that thing. So
I know I was
follow
when I
through.
started, because like the last few episodes you've been doing that stare where you just don't you just look at me. I was trying to be you, and then I ruined everything. So
okay.
now that I've
You're
ruined
gonna
Christmas,
freeze. All right.
yeah.
Oh, you did.
Sorry. Let's try it again.
It's your boy Ryan,
It's your boy Easy.
and you are listening or watching Turtle Soup, the internet, nay, the world's only community-supported podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT, all the way from the very beginning until my TMNT sewer replica, which I've dubbed the Layer of Dreams, actually produces ghost turtles and Splinter and gives me an awesome little narrative story that I can live through. I've built it. They were supposed to come, but they're not here yet.
They're not here yet.
So until that happens, I just have a really detailed sewer layer in my backyard.
Hey, you know,
who knows when that will yield results?
Right.
Maybe it's not all just puppy dogs and rainbows. You know what I'm saying?
True. I know what you're saying.
Rocky, that's what Rocky told me.
Right.
And I typically tend to believe a lot of what he says. But one thing you can believe, unlike the promise of a sewer of dreams, is that we are live on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching, good stuff. If you're listening to the audio podcast, you should come check us out. We're live every Thursday, 8 o'clock. We do that pregame show. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then we steamroll into that live Turtle Soup. You know what I'm saying? If you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, like the video, hit the bell icon, get all the notifications, all that good stuff. And share the stream to let people know that we're live. That really helps us. And we really appreciate everybody who's tuned in and added to the conversation.
Indeed.
So far on the live stream show. A couple things that do come true, like dreams that you see in a movie and you're like, well, that'll work for TMNT, but then it doesn't.
Yeah.
Things that do happen is that we do have amazing patrons, and
we do.
Two of those amazing patrons that we're going to call out today is Jake Niehaus and John Klein III. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Both longtime listeners, huge supporters of the show. We thank all of our patrons for helping the show not say clang and continuing to let us do what we do. We wouldn't be here without you. If you'd like to be a patron for as little as $1 a month, you know what I'm saying? You can go to patreon.com and check out the podcast, and you can see we've been doing it, and sign up for some cool rewards and help the show out. You know what I'm saying? You know what helps me out?
What?
Knowing that our 4 feet, the 4 of us, and then all of the virtual feet from all the Turtletarians watching now or listening later. It makes me feel good that our feet are on the ground in the journey. You know what I'm saying? It's like where we're at, we have our feet planted in the past. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward, always.
Yep, always.
Where are we on the journey today, Eric? And why is it so monumentous?
It's so monumentous, Ryan, because we are starting the beginning of the end, and not the episode of that title that we will review in a couple of Turtle Soup episodes. But metaphorically speaking, we are at the end of a very, would you say a very large highway or important highway? Because it's still a road analogy.
Yes.
Like, is that what that would be considered?
Something like that.
Something like that. Because guys, like, we are at, I don't know. I mentioned this in the pregame show, but I made a video about how impactful it was for me to have gone and found my Turtle Van box set. That's I just said that, the box set of the animated series, and getting that last disc, Ryan, season 10, going all the way to the back and picking that out. It sparked something in me, like just knowing that, like, when we started this show, one of the things that I knew going in was that we haven't seen. Well, I think we talked about it too, but just in my own personal head, instead of our collective one, I knew that like I hadn't watched every episode, and that's something that I had kind of wanted to do, and and I was like, oh, this would be a great thing for that. Eventually, we'll get there and we'll do that, and now we're here. Now we're like. we're
No,
doing
it took us about, just short of 9 years
right.
to cover up through this kind of like end of 96, which is what the animated series, the 87 series is always triggered, for us, the end of that calendar year, right?
Yeah.
The seasons always came out at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And since we try to do things as chronologically as possible,
Right.
when we can, that was always the end of the year. And then once we got done with the animated series that year, then we were on to the next year.
Yeah.
So knowing that this is the 10th year of that, marking the end of that year, it is really exciting.
It
Like
is. It is.
it's been untold hours and hours and hours of reviews,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to end it with a bang here. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we're doing what we're gonna do, one episode a show, so we have plenty of time, and the shows don't
Right.
run over long. And we feel especially like we want to give this last season its due. You know
Like
what
a
I'm saying?
proper
Without
send
trying
off.
to cram too many minutes of or too
Mm-hmm.
many episodes per episode of the show. So we're gonna spend a nice long time with this, and yeah, we hope you enjoy the journey. And it is bittersweet. It is weird,
It is. But
knowing that when we come out of this,
mm-hmm.
that'll be the last of
Right.
this. So
And so
um,
this episode, to be specific, is episode 1, season 10,
yes,
1996, from the animated series from 1987. And it's called The Return of Dregg, which who would have thought we'd seen that jerk again? But here we are.
I
So,
mean, he's back. You know
and
what I'm
guess who's
saying?
back? Back
Guess who's
again.
back? And spoiler alert, he is as treacherous as ever,
Oh yeah.
as a lord can be. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that goodness.
Right.
So we don't really have any emails this week.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have a YouTube comment from Mr. Mike Hatfield that
Oh yeah.
I thought it would be relevant to go
Mm-hmm.
over.
Yeah.
So Mike Hatfield, as by way of background, longtime listener of the show. He's in
Mm-hmm.
Australia. He I mean, going back, I mean, the guy adopted a sea turtle for us,
Oh yeah.
named it Chet, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it it goes now it goes, almost beyond reason when he made an amazing review of the Pizza Hut mutagen ranch sauce,
Right.
only in Australia. He
Mm-hmm.
went and he like unboxed that bad boy,
Yeah.
and was brave enough to take a bite on video and then
Yep.
send it to us. So he dropped a comment because Eric had noticed in the during the video he sent that he had that he actually did that whole and you haven't seen it, you really should. It's on a YouTube channel. It's amazing.
It's on there.
He broke down kind of like how many like Pizza Huts like Australia has versus like America, and then like kind of cross sectioning that with like McDonald's versus the here and there. And Eric noticed that like yeah, that the logo wasn't McDonald's, it
Mm-hmm.
was Macca's
Macca's.
or
Yeah.
Mackers,
Yeah.
And he was like, "Did you see that?" And I didn't see it at the time,
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh, I think you're crazy." And so Mike came back, and this is a cool comment because it does give you a little bit of frame of reference. So
Yeah. I
he
love
says,
this.
regarding one of your comments during the review about the weird McDonald's logo, that was actually a great pickup. I am so used to seeing that logo, I did not even notice that I used the non-traditional logo. Let me see here, and gave it no explanation. You see, here in Australia, McDonald's is commonly referred to as Macca's. This is a nickname has become so common that McDonald's themselves have adopted it officially and regularly use this branding
That's
in place of the
nuts.
full McDonald's one.
That's nuts.
Just one more useless fact you now know about Australian fast food.
Dude, I want all the
I
facts.
didn't know that.
I love it. I'm here for
That
all the
is
facts, Mike.
honestly like kind of crazy. I'm
Yeah.
all about that.
All about it.
That is so strange. It's almost like, all the like regional food they have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
down here in Florida, I guess they don't, I guess at least in Tampa, they don't really deem it necessary to add anything special to the menu where we live.
Mm-hmm.
But in other parts of the country, you have all these weird like regional things they add.
Yeah.
Like in the Northeast, you have a lot more seafood
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And that always kind of like blew my mind when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh man, like getting like weird food at McDonald's, like that's got to be really odd,
Yeah.
And then like you find out that in Australia they just completely like they just take their nickname, but like some of the times and they're like, yeah, we'll just do this.
Like that's something that like people did it so much that they're just like, you know what, whatever. We'll just make it, call it that. And
Yeah.
that breaks my
Yeah.
brain because that's something that just
It
I mean, I'm
does.
sure there's evidence of that happening here in America, I'm sure. But it's just with McDonald's, you feel like it's pretty like solidified that like that's what this is the
Yeah.
standard,
That
I
you can have a
guess. And
nickname. I mean, like for example, I mean, like, you know, I guess we don't hold much clout here in America, but I don't think we've called Domino's by its proper name. I think we've called it Domino's
Domino's
since time began.
began.
I mean,
Exactly.
since you know you and I met each other,
Yeah.
at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still Domino's, guys.
Yeah. It's still
You know, they
hadn't
haven't
changed.
adopted that.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah. We gotta
But
get a petition
if
started.
you guys have in your own area any weird regional stuff with fast food or anything like that, like Eric and I love knowing that kind of stuff. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you
Oh
have
yeah.
anything similar, hit us up at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. Let us know what the story is. I'd be very interested to know. And thank you
Likewise.
again, Mike, for the useful comment because you know
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about that useless knowledge. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's not even that useless because now I know. You
Now
know what
you
I'm
know.
saying? Like,
Goodness.
I run to Australia and I'd be like, "You want to go to Macca's?" And they'd be
And
like,
yeah.
"Doesn't
Right.
sound they actually make."
That is. That
And
is.
it might earn me their loyalty.
It could.
You
It
know,
could. And it takes a lot to
you
earn an
never quite know.
Australian's loyalty. I mean,
It does.
just
I
yeah,
mean,
'cause
like, well, first of all, you don't compare knives with them
no, oh no,
because you're gonna
never.
get you call that a knife.
Oh,
That's gonna happen
yeah, has to.
every time.
Yeah.
I carry a multi-tool. It's got a very functional little 3-inch knife on it. I'm not
Hmm.
even gonna pull it out in
No, no.
Australia.
Oh no, you
Like,
probably even put that in
if
your
I was in
pocket
Australia,
instead of like keeping it
yeah,
on your
no,
belt. You'd put that in your pocket.
yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, this doesn't have a knife.
Yeah.
If I was there, I may ask someone else to let me borrow a knife instead of pulling mine out. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Because
right.
like,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't want
want
to
to
risk
get
it.
you call that a knife. Like,
Right.
I mean that's a point of shame. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is. It is.
Move right on from that. But yeah, once again, Mike, thanks a lot for that. And yeah, I want to hear more weird food stories. I'm all about
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
So I guess, you know, honestly, it's a pretty light intro to the show.
It is.
So I mean, if you're ready to get going
I mean, I'm ready to
on
get
this
going.
episode 1,
I'm
I'm
getting
pretty ready to go. You know what
Dang.
I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
I'm moving. We're moving right through it. You know
we
what
are
I'm
moving
saying?
right through it. I got the TV plugged in and everything. So let me get a nice little transition going. Here we go.
Mm. Oh, it is the first episode of the last season
Right.
of the 1987 animated series. This
Mhm.
is season 10, episode 1, The Return of Dregg. This episode aired on September 14th, 1996. It was directed by Tony Love and written by Jeffrey Scott. This episode is also notable because it is the first episode to feature Michael Gouge as the voice of Raphael.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a definite voice cast change here, and you hear it, like
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
does a okay Rob Paulson, but
Yeah.
it's funny because at times he sounds to me like Donatello. Like I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
if you felt the same way, but I feel
Uh,
like he brings some of the edge that Rob Paulson brings, but like not
hmm.
enough to differentiate the voice, in my opinion.
I
Um,
Now that you mention it, I remember when I would be watching the episode and let it run, and then I'd type my notes, and I remember like not looking at the screen to see who was talking as I was typing, and I would feel like that, or in my peripheral at least, I would be like, oh, that's Raphael talking, but it sounds like any one of the other turtles, except for maybe Michelangelo. But like,
yeah.
yeah, either Barry, was it Barry Gordon
Yeah,
or
Barry Gordon, yeah.
and it also at times he did sound like Rob Paulson. Like that, it was like
Yeah, no, like
pretty spot on.
I think so. I have a theory that as the series goes forward, he'll probably start to sound more like different. Like I think he'll start to like get a little better.
Like find his voice.
I
Yeah.
think that like yeah. I think that they do. I think that I think that voice casts find their voice better as they go forward.
Oh
I think honestly, if we went back to the first season of the animated series, I think we might be very surprised
yeah. Hmm.
how everybody sounds, honestly, versus like how they wind up sounding seasons into the show.
I
for
think
sure.
I think Cam Clark is probably one that that slips a little bit, because if I'm not mistaken, I have like, and it could be the animation, my memories of the animation, but that season 1, it was a lot more determined and like a lot more
It
serious, and
was.
then as it goes on, Leo just becomes more and more whiny, and I think that that probably even plays into why, if it's not the leader, like the Boy Scout, like Cyclops, Leonardo kind of thing, where a lot of people our age had a problem with that, that character, then it might have been something to do with his whininess. And that could be like, I haven't gone through and done like like an extensive like look at it specifically, but from what I recall, if I had to shoot from the hip or whatever, I would say that yeah, that his voice specifically slipped a little bit, and not in a bad way, but just in it transitioned
I
to like
think
a
it's hard
whininess of it.
because yeah, well, because like they you can only you know, you can only voice act, you know, the scripts that you're given,
No, that's true
and
too. Yeah.
he does lose a lot of his like functionality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here I think toward the end now in the Red Skies, I think that you get a little back. I think every turtle starts to feel a little bit more like themselves in this era,
Right.
but yeah, I agree. But yeah, it's so difficult with that middle of the series. Yeah, no, I mean
Hmm.
all that culminates in Leo having a freaking emo episode where he just like quits the turtles and like
Oh yeah.
wanders around like all emo with like a you know beanie on and
Hmm.
like a blue jacket and just
Yep.
like sits on the streets and you're like,
Hmm.
well, that's a dark chapter. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, what's up with that? Um, but that is not the chapter we are in.
No.
Yeah, I said we are in the first episode of season 10, The Return of Dregg. Now, on your DVDs, you get entered into the action zone.
Action
You know
zone.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
CBS Action Zone intro. Target acquired. It is interesting.
It is. Well, can we
It puts you in the time and place. That's for sure.
It does, but can we talk about this for just a half second? Like, this is
Yeah.
one of those things that sounds stupid and superfluous, and for all intents and purposes, it is. But watching this, putting that DVD in and seeing this come on, it elicited something from me, because it made me feel, it was almost like Monday Night Football. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a big football fan.
It actually does look like the style of like intro that Monday Night Football used for a very long time.
Right,
Like
but that
you're not
intro,
wrong. Like this style, this
yeah.
computer, the CGI style is very similar.
And that
Um,
intro, even if you weren't a sports fan, that song is catchy as hell. And then like,
oh yeah,
it was like energetic, and so it appealed to like some base level emotions and feelings in you, regardless of if
it
you
was
were
like
a
a
fan or
weird
not.
like pre hype up for the hype up,
Right.
like because they would do all those graphics and stuff to introduce Monday Night Football. Then you heard the song and all the stuff, and that's kind of what
Right.
this is. It's like a kind of
Yeah.
like a an introduction animation that gets you into the thing. It was very small, but I love that that's where we're at. And I love when
Yeah.
like extra little stuff like that kind of enters the conversation because it puts you
Likewise.
back in that time and place,
Oh yeah.
back in that '96. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Oh yeah.
happening. Um, as far as the episode goes, so here we go. You ready?
Yep.
So we open in the sewer where Michelangelo is connected to a series of electrodes as the Turtles, Splinter, and Carter stand by, ready to perform an experiment with Donnie's new Vortex Crystal demutation ray
Yeah.
that will hopefully end the dreaded curse of the group's group mutation problem they have. But we don't know.
Right.
And we're just starting out hot. You know what I'm saying? Demutation, if I was a turtle, would make me feel a little nervous. I'm
Oh,
like, that
absolutely.
sounds like that's gonna make me a baby turtle.
It
Is
does.
is it sounds like Donnie's gonna do to me. But turns
Yeah.
out they zap him though. You know what I'm saying? They're like, let's
They
do
do.
it. Your boy gets zapped twice with some blue energy. I always love in things like this where like the onlookers always have to wear like insane like eye protection,
Oh yeah.
but the subject
But
never has to wear eye protection.
never has to wear eye
Like
protection, and it's only
you're the
the
one
eyes that they're protecting.
actually yes,
Like, yeah.
you're the one that's actually in the energy and you're telling
Right.
me you don't need eye protection?
Yeah.
Like a welder uses a welding hood because
Mhm.
you know they're doing the welding, but they need eye protection. And then if you're
Right.
going to look at a welder, you also need eye protection.
Yeah.
But in all these tropes, when everyone's wearing like goggles and stuff, like the person being experimented on, no safety gear at all, and that's
No
the case
safety
here.
gear. Oh yeah.
Um, So at the end of this whole thing, when they zap him, Raphael declares happily that Mikey survived the energy ray.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a certainty.
Right.
And you're like,
Like, yeah,
well, good to
that
hear he survived.
yeah, I was not I was thinking like there'd be a lot more like caution there, and that like no, this was very like the whole
I
thing
mean, hey, he survived
seems
it.
exactly. Yeah, the whole thing seems very like let's just see if this works, and one of us might die.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow you might die.
Yeah,
kind
I
of thing.
mean,
And
tomorrow
yeah,
you might die, but I mean, like today, you feel kind of normal at first, at
exactly.
least. But quickly, Mikey said he doesn't feel so hot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then has a solo self-care mutation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Where he alone mutates. And it takes him through the animation takes him through his like normal super mutant form we've seen
Mm-hmm.
during the Red Skies
Yeah.
and into this fella that we're showing on screen now. That turns him even bulkier and adds a lot of weird new features.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So if you're not watching this
I
and you're just listening, he looks like he has a bunch of brown French fries coming out of his back.
Yes, that's
He
exactly. Yep.
yeah, his teeth have become like just like kind of like really thin shark teeth kind of deals, and his
Yeah.
neck
Almost like
gets elongated.
almost like possum teeth. Yeah.
Yeah. And then his
Like
shell is
needles.
like kind of like the front shell is darker and it's kind of frayed. All of his his bandanas and knee pads and all that, they're all frayed, and he's got these weird. I think these might even just be his feet. They're not shoes, but they kind of look like some weird Japanese shoe that you might see outside of
No,
someone's
they
door.
do.
And
Yes.
it's very strange. But the most egregious change is that they gave him these ports that are in his armpit and bicep, and they just are like at first they're just open pores, like with like two claws or teeth coming out the side,
Yes.
and then they just start blasting like energy beams, like green
I
energy
mean,
beams.
anyways, I just started blasting.
I just started
And
blasting.
you'll also know, I think here, though, I don't know if I've ever seen a literal gun show. You know what I'm saying? But when your
I didn't
biceps
even
shoot
think of that.
lasers, that's an actual gun show. You know
That
what
is
I'm
an
saying?
actual
And your
gun
boy
show.
Mikey, everyone says, "Oh, I'll sell tickets to the gun show." I mean,
Right.
this version of Mikey very well could. It
He
would
could.
not be a joke.
That's true.
He also gains these like kind of tang-like claws, and after Carter tries to wrap him up with a chain, like,
Yeah.
"Sorry, bro, got to get your chain." He demonstrates the ability to breathe heat so strong that it can melt steel beams.
It can
You know what I'm
melt
saying?
steel beams. Yep.
So I mean, you can't make a conspiracy theory about this guy because he did it right in front of you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And he breaks those chains. So then Mikey mutates even further into this. I can't even describe it now. It looks like a giant like demon dinosaur flea. Like I can't even like he just gets even worse than he looks now
Right.
and breaks through the roof of the lair.
Mm-hmm.
And as this happens, we see like the image kind of pull back, and we realize that this whole thing was just being viewed through a set of like VR glasses,
Yeah.
and that the whole thing was actually just a highly advanced photoreal simulation that
Mhm.
Donnie was running. To which Raph comments that if it didn't work, but at least we can sell this whole thing as a video game.
Oh yeah.
Which I was like, sure, because
Yeah.
those graphics are
Exactly.
real life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You sell real life. That's all you got to do.
no,
Goodness.
that's what it is. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. So,
But like now,
so
did
Donnie
this?
down here making a Neo Geo killer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like for the time. You know what I'm saying? You think that Neo Geo is hot? $500 ass console. Check this out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So like this
That's what we're
came
doing.
as like a huge surprise to me. Like I was like not expecting this to be.
Yeah, I didn't expect it either. I was like, oh wow, it was all
Yeah.
a dream.
Yeah,
Whoa.
exactly. But it didn't feel quite like that. I guess because it's like so early in the episode, and then they reveal it so quickly. Like as soon as they show you, like that they snap back to reality. And I don't know. I liked it. I think at the end of the day, like when I boil it down, I think I
Yeah.
actually liked that move.
That was pretty
But
cool.
It was really strange to me for some reason.
Well, it makes that whole like, he survived the energy ray like comment make more sense because you're like, okay, well, it's a simulation. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so you're thinking like maybe he won't live, but if it's a simulation, but it's a really well done. I mean, your boy Carter and Donnie T,
Mm-hmm.
they got together and they wrote themselves up. I
They
mean, one
did.
hell of a simulation program. I mean,
They
like it's pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Um, but Leo ain't here for Raph's nonsense about selling video games. And he
No.
reminds us all they really still need to find a way to control their stupid mutations that they've had since
Mm-hmm.
season 7 that are still bad.
Oh yeah.
So old Dad Splinter rolls up and reminds Leo that, quote, stormy seas grow calm when the wind stops blowing. You know what I'm saying? Calm your mind and you will find the answer. You know what I'm saying? And Donnie's like, yeah, that's a bunch of vague shit. I'm gonna go ahead and actually work on the computer. So him and Carter go back to working on the calculations and stuff. You know, like you do. On an asteroid, and what I assume is Dimension X, looks a lot like Dimension X.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's about to happen. Okay, so we quickly see that the Dreadnought, which is Lord Dregg's main ship that he works on, that he lives on, is in dry docks above the surface of what looks like a little asteroid, and while it's being busily repaired by a legion of what I can only describe as like alien Batmen, like they look kind of like bats, but they're also like obviously like alien and insectile. But they look more like bats than insects.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what if a bat was an insect instead?
Right.
Like kind of like thing, but also an alien man.
Trying to see if I got a
good
picture. I don't have it.
Yeah,
I don't think
and we'll. You're good. We'll see more of them later. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They got,
but
they're
definitely different. They're definitely different
saying?
than what we're used to seeing on Dregg's ship.
Yeah, for sure. It does pose a question like, who are all these dudes? Because they're flying all around the surface of the Dreadnought, like like there's a legion of them. There's hundreds of them like working. So aboard the Dreadnought, the high tech, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
is informing Lord Dregg. Your boy come back with a vengeance. You know what I'm saying? He informs Lord Dregg that vortex crystals have been activated in their quadrant of the galaxy, specifically on Earth. And Lord Dregg winds up correctly assuming that it must be the turtles activating the vortex crystals, as they must have figured out that those very same crystals have the ability to control their super mutations. Now, that is true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The big boon from the end of last season was that the turtles come out with some of these vortex crystal shards that should help them go back, right? And like reverse their super mutating, stuff.
Right.
So Dregg's right on the money there. So they enter this dialogue. So the high tech reminds Dregg that the energy level is really low, meaning that they must only have some very small fragments. But then Dregg's kind of excited though, because he says effectively all he needs is like the teeniest little shard to be able to genetically synthesize a bunch of more vortex crystals. So he only needs a little piece, not a big piece. And this would allow him to obviously power up the vortex transporter that he completed and operated for a short time last season, but then got genuinely wrecked. And this is a portal that effectively it's the old Krang trick. Like Krang was always going for that portal to Dimension X to bring over his rock soldiers and all of his armies and onto Earth. And Dregg's version's kind of cooler because it's more of like an instantaneous transport portal. It's not necessarily like I'm opening up a wormhole to Dimension X. It's more like what goes in one side of the portal from a million years away goes out the other side. And he fired that thing up, and there was like warships in the sky above the city and stuff. And he didn't get so far with operating it, but it was up. You know
it
what
was
I'm saying?
up.
So he's trying to get it back up. You know what I'm saying?
He is, and it's hard to do, especially at his age, probably.
It is.
Oh
yeah.
So, but I have a question. So, and we'll see this later. So maybe we can table this after I, present it. But with the relative ease that we eventually see how they can replicate those crystals, and given the fact that the high tech and Lord Dregg are pretty competent villains, like despite the fact that they've failed at some of their attempts to do things, they've still done, I think, arguably more than Shredder's been able to accomplish, and Krang even together, to some varying degrees. But I would think that one of them would have the foresight. Well, I guess the H.A.V.K didn't realize this, so Dregg had to let him know about the replication element or ability of the crystal. And I mean, if it was me, like, I would have made a ton of these things. Now, unless there's some other science that we don't know yet, like as to that would cause a problem.
I don't think Dregg had the vortex crystal long enough to do what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
But it does make sense. Like the first thing he would have done the minute he got it was grab a little piece.
Yeah, first thing.
Then he can have vortex crystal forever. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But you're right. It's a little, but I mean, but he's got his goal now.
That's true.
Now he's like, I just gotta find those turtles. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And get a hold of that. So this is when Dregg calls on Mung, an interesting new character who has a mustache and is a weird dude. He,
what do you like? He's kind of like a frog.
Kind of definitely like an alien reptile guy.
Yeah,
kind of whatever. I'm gonna try to say he's not trying to be an Asian stereotype. I'm just gonna pretend.
I didn't even think about that until just now, but I can totally see that for the 90s especially, and that's unfortunate.
Like, a name like Mung, right? Like, and that, I kind of look at that, and I'm kind of like, Like, I hope that's not what we're doing.
And
but
just,
like...
And just to new drink it a little bit, and not even, I feel bad about it too, but maybe and I can't even say this in good conscience, but like, the fact that you have to, if I want to give some people the benefit of the doubt, designers who might have like not known that those were stereotypes and not known that they were offensive, based like evil look off of people that they had seen when they were younger, maybe. That could have been. So the intent might not have been there, but like, especially now, if that happens, that's a little rough. But in the 90s,
that is kind of like, I guess, the curse of like the cyclic racism a little bit, right? Is like the whole like, well, like, I'm not saying like this stereotype or this trope was around before I was born,
right?
So like, to me, I just used it, but then it's like, well, you know what I mean? But either way, and like I said, maybe I'm just reading into it. I'm not trying to, but like, that's your boy. You know what I'm saying? He's a weird looking dude, that's for sure. You know what I'm saying? And he's got more to him than just weird looks. And we're gonna get into that.
Oh yeah.
So it seems that like Mung is the guy who is in charge of these alien bat dudes, right? Because he rolls up and Dregg's like, "Yo, when's my Dregg not gonna be done?" And Mung's like, "Dude, it is already done. It's done.
It's been done."
And Dregg's probably like, "Well, that's weird because it feels like there was a bunch of them just all around the ship fixing stuff, like literally a second ago." But like, it's done now. Sounds great. So this is when a lot of crazy stuff happens really fast. So the H.A.V.K just walks up with this, like, I gotta be honest, Eric, it's a super can't do attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like your boy H.A.V.K rolls up and he's like, "It's gonna take months, to recreate the vortex transporter." Even when we get to Earth, even if we get the vortex crystal and you get a piece, and even if we clone it and do all this stuff, you're gonna have to actually build the machine, which takes like the forever time, and that's really gonna suck. Just remember, Dregg, this is gonna suck, right? Mung sees an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So Mung's like, "How about I give you a tube of nanorobots?" You know what I'm saying? We call them nanobots now. But micro robots is the phrase we used for this show. So 1 million computerized micro robots. He's like, "What if I give you these and you open it and it gives off a really like kind of rather disturbing Geiger counter noise?"
Yeah.
Like, if you are around something that starts clicking, like you're reading it from a Geiger counter, but there's no Geiger counter around you,
get out of there.
That is a major problem.
Yeah, leave
like
now. Yep.
And this thing does give off this like Geiger counter clicking sound, which I really liked.
Oh yeah.
But
when
he opened it, I'm like, "Dregg, you better be like made of some like anti-radioactive business, because like that right there sucks." You know, that's a bad place to be.
Oh yeah.
So he promises that Dregg can build whatever he wishes with these microbots.
Right.
And guys, that is all it takes for Dregg to immediately offer Mung the role as his second in command,
Oh yeah.
ditching the high tech like a
Mhm.
bad habit.
Absolutely. Just
The
gone.
high tech now for his part, the high tech decides that his best course of action
Mhm.
is to heap praise upon Dregg
Yeah.
while simultaneously attempting to shoot Mung with laser guns.
Right.
But Mung has the ability, as shown here, to
Mhm.
wrap himself in some sort of metal shield that is impervious to the blasts of the laser weapons.
Right. And
Then, yeah,
it doesn't even cover his whole body. It's just
covers enough.
covers.
I mean, you wish
You
high
got
tech
me
would
there.
have aimed would have aimed a little higher. What if
Right.
it went right through his
Exactly.
brain case?
Exactly.
Or like, how about the foot? I bet you if you shot him in the foot, his stupid little metal things move, and you can shoot him and kill him.
Exactly.
But I mean, all I gotta say is you roll up in Dreggville with a can't do attitude, and that's not gonna get it.
It's
know
not
what I'm
gonna
saying?
get it.
We're
No.
looking to glow. Dregg's looking to be on a glow up right now, and this guy came in with some bad energy. Goes even further into the bad energy by trying to shoot Mung.
Yep.
Mung blocks it like I have metal plates for this very purpose. Because Mung sounds like the kind of guy who's so annoying that like he has to have this or he would have been long dead.
Oh,
It feels
yeah.
like Mung is so annoying that he's probably been shot at many times.
Oh, absolutely.
But
and he has to know that like this is the area, like he's analyzed it because he made nano or microbots. He's analyzed his hit points and all this stuff to know that I usually get shot at in this area, so I'm just gonna do that, protect that area. And
I'm gonna protect that area. He might be protecting himself from something else that flies around those Batmen. We're gonna talk about that in just one second.
Oh,
because he might need some protection against that.
He might.
At this point, Mung, twirls his little antenna for a second,
right?
And this summons all the Batmen. Alien Batmen come flying out of everywhere, who use laser guns to shoot white sticky stuff.
Yeah,
all over the high tech. It is a display that would humiliate any man, and he gets stuck into an actual chair with the white sticky stuff. It doesn't even look like it particularly shoots at high pressure.
No,
it looks like it just kind of
it's just like a little string
blobs out, just like a little string.
Yep,
and that's enough.
Yeah,
to bond tight your boy straight down to a chair. And this isn't just any chair. This chair conveniently has the entire shell of a rocket
as the
backrest.
Yes.
And it just like boo whip whoop and like wraps him, and now he is in a little rocket. Okay.
Yeah.
And Dregg's like, tell you what, you're gonna go on a deep orbital reconnaissance mission across the galaxy, gathering untold data.
Yeah.
And then and already high tech's like, this is awful. And then Dregg goes, for how long? Maybe 2,000 light years. And the minute I heard that, I was like, isn't that just 2,000 years? Like light years is like a distance measurement. So like 2,000 light years.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just 2,000 years. I guess they wanted Dregg to say something that sounded spacey, but it's okay. Then, just 2,000 years is fine. And yeah, he blasts the high tech right through the ceiling in a very conveniently placed panel, little porthole, and off into the galaxy.
Yeah, like you would have thought that the high tech presented himself as somebody that knew what was going on, like had his hands in everything.
Yeah.
And he was a force to be reckoned with, second in command of the Dreadnought and Lord Dregg's armies.
Oh,
and pretty formidable, if I recall correctly, if not like mentally, then, just as a strategist and whatever. You would think he would know that this ship has a hatch right above this chair that turns into a rocket. I am not going to get myself in a position like my forethought is I'm going to start a fight. The next process, do not get in this vicinity because it's easy to get skeeted into that seat, and and that's what happens. Well, and so I'm kind of perplexed by that.
So high tech is also, upon information and belief, at least this long into the story, been Dregg's second in command for a really long time.
Right.
Dregg just ditched that man. Dregg was like, "You're out."
He does.
Like, I had one too many can't do attitudes out of you, and you're out.
Yeah.
And
Like,
Mung, a man seems like he's just met
right.
or has a lot less experience with. He's
Mhm.
like, I want your microbots so bad that I will actually like ditch my right hand man.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the H.A.V.O.K is like the captain of the whole. Oh, what are they? Are they called the Hive Guard
I think
or
that
whatever?
sounds right.
Like
Yeah.
the whole like legion of soldiers they have
Right.
that are kind of badass in their own right.
Yeah.
Like, and they're the H.A.V.K species.
right.
So like,
And
you lost the commander of your armed forces too when
yeah.
you did that. Like
Exactly.
you lost you're like he literally is second in command. I actually really like the way that they use him in the show with Dregg because he is in command of those Hive Guard guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you ditch him too. So you're not just losing. You think Mung's gonna leave from the front with those guys?
Yeah, not with that shield. Not shield attitude. But
I guess he just replaced the whole army with Batman now.
that's what it looks
Like-
like, at least from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But a really stupid point I want to make is that I don't. And again, I haven't gone back and verified this, but just based on this screenshot, talking about Dregg and the H.A.V.K's relationship, maybe as a point of like not endearment, but like closeness, like familiarity. Dregg doesn't call him the H.A.V.K, he just calls him H.A.V.K.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's
You lost that.
Yeah, so he's because you're just H.A.V.K, it's like I think that shows a familiarity there. Unless I think what you just were saying was that the H.A.V.K is a title, which would be rad too. So either way, there's a lot of stuff that's changing hands and being different.
Yeah,
here.
that'd be like if football players stopped calling Ohio State the Ohio State.
Right.
If they start calling it Ohio State, I feel like that says something about Ohio State. You know what I'm saying?
It
If you're
does.
not the Ohio State,
Right.
then you're screwed. So I feel like that's important. And if you're the H.A.V.K, and
Right.
now it's just H.A.V.K,
H.A.V.K.
go
Yeah.
on for 2,000 light years.
Yeah.
Like if I was H.A.V.K, I'd be like, okay, so is this little rocket thing capable of traveling faster than the speed of light? Because if it can,
then it could
2,000 light years is actually
right.
Like based on that theory of relativity, like
Mhm.
actually, like I'm gonna come back and Dregg's gonna be dead,
Yeah.
because it'd be like a million years, and I will be the same age I am now. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It's some interstellar business.
Right.
But whatever. So that all happens, and yeah, your boy the H.A.V.K for now, out of the game. See
Out
ya.
of the game.
Bye. You're in the rocket. Back in the lair, Carter has taken care of adjusting the crystal oscillations to match the turtle's genetic code.
Yeah.
Like it was
Like you do.
I'm like, okay, you did all that.
Yeah.
So upon running another simulation with Mikey, it appears to work. Although that evidence is nothing more than the fact that the simulated Mikey says he feels totally perfectamundo.
Perfectamundo.
And that it's not really peer reviewed or tested really in the simulation any further. Then he just says, I feel fine.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of things that can happen where like you're actually dead, but you feel fine. Like
Yeah.
exposure
Yeah.
to radiation, for example. Like
Mhm.
you take a lethal burst, you're like, I'm good. But see, it's 10 minutes later when you start
Right.
throwing up blood. And that's when you know you're not good. Right. So I kind of feel like, yeah, but anyway, hey, it's fine. So they're like, perfect. Let's run it. Let's do it for real. Because the computer said, and they're
Mhm.
like, yep. So Carter, not so fast though, because Carter's like, perfect. Let me try it with me in the simulation.
Mhm.
And sure enough, he gets in the simulation and he gets zapped, and then immediately turns into Savage Dragon Big Bird. Like just
Immediately.
the Savage Dragon Big Bird we know and love. He
Mhm.
just, I mean, it's not even like he doesn't have time to go like, bro, I feel weird. It was like, Rah! And now he's Big Bird again. And they're like,
Mhm.
okay, well, that's not going to get it.
No.
So upon seeing this failure, Splinter, who I guess apparently is hanging out today to provide exclusively cryptic, poetic sounding advice.
As you do.
This is his
That's
job
what he
today.
does.
He informs all that the same notes played another way make beautiful music.
It's
You
true.
must find your own song, Carter. And Carter's only response to this vague advice is to stare forward vacantly. Just
Yes.
just to go, did he
Yep.
just old dad Splinter like read me half a haiku that
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense right now? And
Right.
like, because it feels like last time this happened, we had to work on it more, and I feel like now I got to work on it more. But the only
Mhm.
difference is that I'm the only one that can't not turn into Big Bird, and
Right.
that's annoying.
Yeah.
Also, this advice rung kind of crazy with me because literally, I used to give you the exact same advice when we were writing music together all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that
Remember
I
that?
think.
Where I'd be like, oh, like you come to me with a chord progression, I'd be like, play it backwards,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
and stuff like that, like all the time.
Exactly. And
And
that's
so I was
how.
basically I was giving you
Yeah.
that.
You were giving me that sage Splinter wisdom, but
How wise is that?
thankfully I wasn't like Carter, who's looking at Splinter like, this is the guy I came into the sewers and dropped out of college for to
Yes,
study with.
yes,
This is what the information. This is what I'm
yes.
getting. Yeah. Thankfully, I
Yep.
didn't take that. I didn't take that approach, and I played the song
I could
backwards.
do that actually all day. Like I feel like like I could just sit there and be like and like just watch awful things happen to people, and like if my whole job was just like, there are two doors, one you know, and one you don't.
Right. Just that. That's it.
I mean, because you just make whatever you want.
Oh
Like
yeah.
inside you there are two wolves, and they're
Yep.
like, go on. I'm like, that's it.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? That's all
Yep.
I gotta say.
Mhm.
So now we leave this somber moment
Yes.
to go into low Earth orbit, where
Mhm.
Dregg and Mung release just one little microbot in a cute little spaceship. It has its own
Yeah.
little ship,
It's so
and they
tiny.
put it into like a little portal, and they go they're a little like port in the thing, boop, and he goes like, pew, and he flies down to Earth,
Oh,
and
hold
then
on. I got it
this
right
all
here. There it
occurred.
is. Look how tiny that is.
Yeah, a little ship.
It's
I
so
love it
tiny.
that Dregg's like
Brilliant.
brilliant. Like I was like, I think a thing like that can just be released and land on Earth. I think it has such low mass
Yeah.
that like I think it could literally just from Earth orbit like make it to Earth. Like,
Right.
and just sit there basically.
Right.
Like um this by the way, this whole thing gave me really big the three body problem vibes. Like
What is that?
them sending one little it's a book. It's kind of dense. It's a sci-fi book. It's really really good though. And it's all the 2 seconds is it's effectively about us encountering like alien life for the first time. And the way it unfolds is like through this like simulation. It's really hard to explain, but one of the plot points is that these aliens start to mess with like nano devices like that.
Okay.
And it shows what damage one could do like on Earth. And
Yeah.
it's kind of blows your mind. Like what
Interesting.
one thing the size of an atom could
Right.
possibly do to us.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's a great book. It's kind of dense, but once again, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Well, I got an
he
idea.
gets, but I mean, the
I
ones in the
think,
book don't come in a little shit.
right, which I think that the main takeaway here is that we're noticing that Dregg has an affinity for small things, like tiny treasures and
He
stuff
does.
like that. That like he just
does.
likes little things, like just little tiny things.
He does
And
like little things.
like I imagine
He-
he's got like his room, like his captain's quarters is just got a bunch of tiny little doll houses and whatnot, and I
It's
love
like
that.
Yeah, and it's like little knickknacks, and like he builds like teeny little rocket ships in teeny little bottles,
Yeah.
like in his spare time,
Oh,
and stuff like
absolutely.
that sounds like something he's into.
Oh, totally is.
So the cute little ship comes down, and this is all kind of occurring while Carter is prepping the vortex retribution ray to be to fix the turtles one by one.
Right.
So he goes through each kind of three turtles,
Mhm.
and that leaves just Leo, right? So he does them all,
Yeah.
and they have weird reactions, like Raphael burps, like
Yeah.
Donnie has this reaction.
Yeah.
Oh God, how do I put this? Donnie has the reaction of somebody who like was really, really, really hyped for something, and then it sucks. Like,
Yeah. He does.
like his reaction is just like how I imagine. I don't know, like usually like most people's like first time is,
right.
where everyone's like, "It's so cool, man! Oh my God, no, it's like amazing, bro! You see the movie?"
Right.
Blah, blah. And then when you actually do it and you're done, you're like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
Like, because that's
Oh,
the exact reaction he has. He's like, well, okay.
that's exactly
And
it.
you're
I
like,
was gonna say it looked like he
like,
shot one of those aliens'
Donnie,
guns, but
it
yeah,
does.
it
Yeah,
does.
but didn't have a good time
But
doing
didn't
it. You know what
enjoy
I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah, it
And
was not fun.
did enjoy it. And it always felt to me, I'm like, I think Donnie secretly just wants the super mutations to keep happening because it makes him really relevant. Like,
Oh, that's a good
it's
point because
kind of
he's
his
the only one that
it's
has
kind of
goggles when
his
he mutates, right? Or that eye thing.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
kind
but
of
you
his
mean
job,
to
and
figure it
it
out?
makes him relevant to the team. Like remember in the first seasons where they're doing this, where like everyone's like, all right, hey, look, we gotta fight Dregg because Dregg's got this, whole campaign going on. He's got the people of Earth fooled and thinking he's like brilliant and but now they hate us and then Donnie be like, well, you don't want to hear this, but our genetic code is more unstable than ever. And everyone's like, God damn it, oh, Donnie. Oh God, Donnie. And Donnie's like, no, but look, I took a beaker, and they're
Right.
like, is this? Do we need this guy? That's
Right.
a reaction. Seriously, they're like in the
Yeah.
middle of like life or death. Like they're in the middle of like a propaganda war with a
Mhm.
conquering alien overlord, and
Right.
all this and Channel 6 like gets blown up, and all this stuff happens.
Mhm.
And Donnie's like, well, I just ran another test, and they're like, oh God, but
look at my
but
beakers.
Donnie, yeah, he's like, well, check out this long dot matrix printout from the printer, and they're like, oh. And honestly, I think that Donnie was just not as relevant before all this happened. So now I think he's kind of like, yeah, let's fix it. Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So I guess does machines. I guess I'll
Mhm. I guess
make
I'll yeah.
another 10 story tall espresso machine that doesn't work.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. Or add all these cool things to the party wagon that no one cares about.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's just where Donnie is like at right now.
Mhm.
So that's my own little headcanon theory as to why he kind of has an unsatisfying conclusion to
Yeah.
the process. But with Leo, the last turtle remaining to be fixed with the retribution ray, teeny little microbot gets out of his ship and like parks it. He parks it. And he gets out. And he's like, yeah. And he walks down the thing. There he is. And he
Yeah.
busts out the thing. He's like, yeah. And then he walks down a little thing and he goes down into the rubble and he winds up like crawling down a wire right
Mhm.
to the machine. Walks up on the vortex crystals, cutely cuts himself a teeny little piece.
Just the littlest piece.
It's a little baby piece. And he's like, all right, I'm good. And he
He's like,
walks away and he goes
I'm
back
gonna
into the
need
ship.
this.
And like,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take it.
No, he's like, I'm gonna need this. Thank you. And he like leaves. Well, so the problem is that this causes a power drop that is
Yeah.
illustrated on a monitor right next to Carter, but it's to
Right.
Carter's right and he can't see it.
Can't see it.
And he just doesn't notice. So
Yep.
he activates the machine, zaps Leo, who, I mean, seems to fare just as well as everyone else did. He's kind of like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So Mikey finally asked a question that everyone should be asking. They should have asked from the minute they were like, shoot all of us with energy laser.
Right.
Is he does finally ask, how do we actually know our
Mhm.
premature group mutations are over with now? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And Splinter suggests that they actually spar to test it out, which I thought was a pretty good idea. It's a pretty
Oh
good
yeah.
way of putting it through the race, putting it through
Mhm.
the stocks, and that's what they do. So because if you don't know, the turtles usually get all they usually group mutants, when they get all hot and bothered, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like when they
Yeah. Of
get
course.
mad or anxious.
Yeah.
So they totally wear themselves out. You know what I'm saying? Like sparring like crazy, and they don't prematurely mutate. You know what
They
I'm
don't.
saying? So they're like, well, I mean, I think I'm totally wasted. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But like, I can tell you one thing I'm not is a really big dumb version of myself that can't hold my weapon and trips over obvious things on the
Mhm.
ground. I tell you,
Yep.
that's not what I am. Um, so Leo starts to glowing blue though,
Mhm.
and I feel like Splinter and Carter and all have eyes on that, and like no one sees it because they're like,
Yeah. They're
"Oh,
like,
you're healed."
yeah. They don't want to see
Um,
that.
it's kind of go to the doctor for like a mystery diagnosis, and he's like, "Probably lack of sleep," and you're like, "I don't
Yep.
know, but I think
Yeah.
you're wrong. I think I'm dying.
Right.
I think you just don't want to bother me anymore. I think that's what it
Yeah.
is." So, and we got to talk about this for a second. So after all of this,
Yeah.
Carter is seen to just be walking off. He grabs his motorcycle helmet and he's just walking away. He's just walking.
Yes. Just walking.
And not in the typical like Carter like James from Twin Peaks way,
Right.
where like he used to do, where he's like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I'm out of here, guys. I'm just gonna hop on my bike. I'm gonna leave town forever.
Right.
Like the big show out. Not that
Yeah.
way. Not in the sulky like, well, I mean, you guys got cured, but like I'm
Mm.
not cured, so I'm gonna walk off and like cry about it for a little bit, or even that attention seeking like, well, I'm just gonna walk away, but I'm gonna look over my shoulder and then
Right.
walk a little more, and then oh, does anybody see? Oh, they see. Oh, I gotta walk away.
Yeah.
Not even in that way, but in a just walking away way, like
yeah.
just walking away. He now
Like just walking
before I open up
straight.
the floor here, before I
That's
open up
all
the
he's
floor
doing.
to how weird this is, he literally like he's gonna go like get a drink and come back. Like, but he's got his motorcycle.
Yeah.
He just walks away. So it takes the turtles like and Leo like calling him out, like, Carter, where you going, dude?
Mm-hmm.
For Carter to turn around and basically explain that like he came here to learn from Splinter and that he's learned a lot and that it's been awesome, but he wants to go back to college.
Wants to go back to college.
So that he can change his own weird Big Bird Savage Dragon mutation.
Yeah.
What's up with Carter just walking away, my man? Like they've
Like-
been through a lot together at this point. Carter just dead ass walks away. I don't know if I've ever seen someone just walk away like I'll never see you again, with pretty much no like fight or conclusions made.
Yeah,
He just walks away.
It didn't feel like it was a setup necessarily. Like kind of like how
No.
at the beginning of the episode, how that didn't feel like the fake out test, like how it was like, oh, Mikey got mutated. That didn't feel like a setup either. That was just like oh, here we are. And that for some reason this kind of feels the same way. Like to your point, that it's just like, oh, Carter's just doing something, and then oh, he's talking about going back to college. Okay. Yeah, but this doesn't make any sense to me because why would you leave?
That would be like, I can't even. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, why would you leave the people? So, first of all, you're hanging out with 4 superhero mutant ninja turtles, which is badass no matter how you look at it, one way or the other.
You're not going to find that anywhere because I can tell you this right now, okay? Because we've seen the world through this show. The only group of other mutants you got to hang out with is the punk frogs, and none of them finish high school. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
You're not going to be anywhere near. You are in rarefied air at this point, Carter.
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like Carter should know that at this point. And I got to say, Carter has become a way better character. We basically ran him ragged when he came on this show. We were not fans of Carter. He was honestly like really kind of spoiled and pouty and annoying and whatever. And it was always all about him. And he was really unreliable as a teammate and all this stuff. But they've really broken these barriers. And it's not that when Carter explains it, it's not like they decided to make him angsty. Like, because they could have done that. Like he could have been like in the throes of anger at like, oh, well, you're healed, but like, I guess, screw me. Like I guess I don't matter. And when they asked him, Carter, where are you going? He could have turned around and gone, well, I don't know, man. I'm frustrated. I came here to learn from Splinter, and yeah, sure, I did that. And you guys are cool and all, but like, y'all probably ain't gonna work on curing me. Like you just cured yourself. Yeah. And like, what if we can't? Like I quit college for this, and I appreciate it, I guess, but like, I don't think anyone's here for me. Like I'm going. I gotta go fix myself because all Splinter said when I said I can't fix. It doesn't work with my code. Splinter told me some bullshit about like play the notes in a different order. Well, like I don't know, man. Who's a musician around here? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Y'all are on stage. Y'all are coming out of your shells, but like, who's gonna help me play the notes? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna play the notes?
I'm gonna walk straight and go skip some stones. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what he's.
I never heard that I could count on you. You never sing that song for me.
They never.
You
know
what I'm saying? You sing it. You sing it to Splinter. You sing it to April and all that stuff. You even sing it to the guys from Turtle Soup. You sing it to them all the time.
Yeah,
but you never sing it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand if they played him for that.
Right.
But they don't. His reaction is like very matter of fact.
Yeah.
Like it's not angry. It's just like, yeah, man, like I came here to do this and I'm thankful for it and it's cool and all, but like I got to go back to college. I love how if they hadn't stopped him, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Like,
that would have. Yeah.
All that, no goodbye. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, what do they call that? They call that the Irish goodbye? Is that like the name for it?
I have no idea. That sounds offensive, but probably not.
I mean, sure, but like, but you know, I don't know. I feel like the Irish are probably some of the, you know, I feel like there's people that are more, you know, whatever, victimized maybe, but I don't even know.
Well,
What do you have a good name for that?
I don't
Well,
know.
because well, I mean, of course, the Irish people, I mean, back in the day, especially, were highly victimized. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
oh
don't
yeah,
mean to downplay
yeah.
that,
We don't know.
but
Yeah, no, not at all.
just saying, you know, I mean, the Irish were, I mean, that was real bad in America. You know what I'm saying? Just
Oh
watch
yeah,
gangs in New York, and you'll
Gangs
see.
of New York, exactly.
But I feel like that's the closest phrase I've heard to describing this, where you just walk away.
Right,
Like
right.
maybe Carter had his inner cowboy, and maybe his inner cowboy said, "I should have walked away," and he's like, "Well,
Right,
what if I could do that in real time? Now
exactly.
that way I won't regret it." I don't know, but I just thought it was really odd.
I agree.
We
I
spent
agree.
a lot of time on it, but
I do love. I
he
do
was just
love.
going to walk away from those cats, though,
He
straight
was.
up, just
And I
walk
love.
out.
I think Donatello's face is probably the best like reaction to
Yeah,
that. Like,
that's how
just
I'd look.
what, you're going to college? Like, yeah, and that's amazing. But then, yeah, they just are like, all right, well, we're gonna miss you.
Yeah, no, like Leo, like I respect that. I mean, Leo's like, sure, well, if we can't talk you out of it, like,
Mm-hmm.
put her there, Carter. Like, you
Smell you
know,
later.
don't turn into Big Bird anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a thing. And so yeah, they shake hands, and when they do that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when we touch, Leo immediately has a solitary self-love mutation. You know what I'm
That's
saying? He
true.
literally just does it himself right there, and it is basically the worst nightmare
It
that happened from the
is.
simulation. Guess what? It
Yeah.
happens in real life. Now, Leo, once again, much like what happened to Mikey in the simulation,
Yes.
kind of like powers and fast forwards through his. You see his normal like super mutant self for a hot second, but then he
Right.
just turns into this awful looking thing. Um,
Right.
I don't know if I love the fact that they turn into that, like both times they turn into that like kind of like light kind of beige color. I kind of wish that they
Yeah.
would stay more like their turtle color. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's nitpicking, I guess. I guess it's like to show them. I guess the color difference really shows that
There's a
how
change.
different he is. It's like another
Yeah.
way to show how different he is.
Right.
Besides the fact that he looks 100% different and he's really big and tall.
Yeah.
The fact that like he breaks almost every other thing he put on his body, but his belt's still there. It's interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. That
Um,
that is very interesting. Yeah.
and honestly, he doesn't look exactly like Mikey's,
No.
like I guess whatever, like mega mutated version, but it's close enough that
Yeah.
it's almost like doesn't necessarily bear a lot of just description. He's a mess.
Yes.
And yeah, he does this, and he's absolutely out of control. He's not himself. He's hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're never yourself. And this guy, you got to eat. You know what I'm saying? What you doing? You know, all those things. He won't get far by swinging
He won't.
a pipe at Mikey's actual head.
Right.
That doesn't connect. Um, they kind of honestly like turtles kind of get their dicks knocked into the dirt by this guy. It's classic because they can't handle it.
Yeah.
That's when for whatever reason Leo monster Leo like runs out of the sewer layer and goes into like more like the sewer proper and
Mm-hmm.
starts kind of like running down the long thing of sewer that the party wagon usually uses to drive out
Yeah.
of the
Sewer.
of the sewers. So the turtles all jump in the party wagon. They go, yeah, Carter, come on, man. Like, with the tacit understanding, I believe in their words, basically saying like, I know you're leaving, but we need you on this one because like you're right here, and this is insane. But Carter just casually walks out, holding a dot matrix printout, and he's like, you know what happened? There was a power drop, and I didn't notice it, and that's why Leo is Monster Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And the turtles are like, awesome. And Donnie at this point steps in a bit of like de facto leader, and he's like,
Yeah.
I don't care. You need to come help us. And
Mm.
Carter refuses to help. Carter's like,
Yeah.
no, I need to stay here and figure out what happened.
Right.
And Donnie's like, we don't have time for this.
Exactly.
Bye. And they leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they straight peace out. So
Mhm.
on the Dreadnought, the cute little microbot comes right back home in his little ship. He's like, oh,
Mhm.
there we go, the little ship. He goes in there, and then he gets out, and it's so cute. There he
That's
is.
the cutest
and he has
thing
a
I've ever seen.
little
It's so
vortex
tiny.
thing, and he kind of holds it up, and like Dregg grabs him between his fingers, and like the little robot goes like, and like, holds it up. Here you go. And Dregg's like, oh yes, and like Dregg's able to without like tweezers. I figure like, I mean, it's a man of science, like probably has some tweezers. No, his little like fat like clawed hands are nimble enough not only to hold a microbot in like one hand, but like to pluck out what is probably like,
like
I can't even imagine how infinitesimally small that little piece of crystal is. It is so little.
And if the microbot is so tiny, then that crystal's got to be pretty tiny.
I mean, we're talking like, gotta be like smaller than a grain of sand, man.
Yeah,
I mean, like it is so teeny. Like the microbots, I think a grain of sand. So like, imagine like that. And he's puts a little thing. He's like, all right, and he he just drops it into a little beaker of bubbling green liquid, where it immediately spawns into a whole big old cup full of vortex crystals. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, that's done. That happened.
Just add water.
Then Dregg, he laughs about being able to reconstruct the vortex transporter and how it has the power to transport anything from one end of the galaxy to the other. We already knew that. And then Mung laughs along, and he prepares the rest of the microbots to be deployed.
Yeah.
And so that's where we cut over to our boy Easy.
That's true. So, So back on planet Earth, after we've left space, we're introduced to a cab driver who's telling his passenger that who's this lady that New York's not that bad. New York is actually it's not so bad. It's it's got its ups and downs. But
it's really turning around out here.
It's really turning
around actually.
And at that very moment, mutated Leo comes and just like wrecks the cab. And now they're both saying the city's not a place to live. And I love their faces. Like they're just like, what?
No. Oh yeah, it's pretty great.
It's too good.
No.
So the turtles in the turtle van, they end up seeing stuff like that, seeing Leo wrecking havoc and saying, making jokes about how they hope the insurance covers it and everything. But so Leo sees the turtles in the turtle van, and he proceeds to bash the hell out of the turtle van. And for long-time listeners, at least from the last couple of seasons where we've done the animated series, we are, I still am at least, and I'm sure you are too, huge fans of the turtle van being in various states of disarray. That like, we saw an episode last season where it was just progressively falling apart.
Yes. It was almost like the Blues Brothers like car.
Oh
car chase thing where it was damn near just a rolling frame when it was done. And I was all about that.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
And this is it's just great. And it's Leo just adding more damage to it. And I love it. The turtles are just, running away, just getting out of there. And, so then the news channel, it's not News Channel 6 unless I'm mistaken, unless I missed something. I don't think it's News Channel 6.
I don't think it is. It's just Billy Bob with a camera trying to get a scoop.
It's Billy on the street, you know what I'm saying? And so
and minor league dude coming into the mix.
So Leo does not like this because obviously, he's a Channel 6 guy. So he picks up a car and throws it. At the Channel 6 or not the Channel 6, the news people. And
it's the news,
Then the turtles corner Leo in front of a gas station, Ryan, and like this is one of those things again where now like like you mentioned earlier, Donatello, de facto leader, does machines, has to understand that there are properties that are that involve gasoline and things like that. This is
all very problematic.
Precisely. That this is Donatello and Michelangelo actually, maybe not so much in 96, but you could argue that somehow they should know through video games and just whatever that gas stations are not a good place for any altercation. The propensity for any kind of explosion is just too high. So this was a little weird for me. Like I was like, this is strange that they would do it in front of a gas station of all places. And to be honest, I think this might be the first gas station we've ever seen in the animated series. I can't think of another one that we've seen.
I feel like potentially it is, and it's so weird that it's just in Manhattan.
Yeah, that it's just there, and it's like
it's just a gas station just in Manhattan. Right there, just right in the middle of all of it.
Exactly. And so, anyway, the turtles are like, they throw caution to the wind, as well as Donnie's bow staff. He throws it at Leo. Leo catches it, breaks it. Raph manages to get him pinned up with his sai, and which is strange. And then my favorite is that so Mikey comes in hot with his as seen here, comes in hot with that lasso, I guess for the grappling hook. That's
grappling hook situation. Yeah, can't have nunchucks.
Yeah, could have had him, but no, just the grappling
Thanks,
hook.
England.
And Leo ends up getting free, and he takes off, causing Mikey to follow as well. And Leo is just causing like all sorts of damage to cars and the gas station and everything like that. So at this point, Raphael does, what should have been one of the first things you do, at least in my opinion, is you call a responsible adult, April O'Neil in this case. She's got her turtle comm right next to her homebound work office where she's just internet sleuthing, I can only imagine. She's just there chilling out, and again, she's decked out in her Red Skies outfit, so she just looks, I don't know, I still really like this April, at least the design wise.
Best she's looked since season 1.
Yeah, that's true.
When the animation was kind of different, she looked a little bit more anime. I think she looked really good. And then
definitely.
She looks. I love her look. I mean, I've kind of spouted about it all season. Or ever since Red Skies, like the eye color change into that teal color is awesome, and she just looks so much more capable. Now, for some reason.
Yeah, I guess
the redesign really was good for her.
There's something about the jumpsuit. I get that it's iconic, and I get that it's like
it's super iconic.
It's cool. But it kind of feels like it kind of anchors her. Well, she's a news anchor, so I guess I guess there's that. But I think in a negative sense, it kind of pigeonholes her, but not even necessarily to the news.
I agree.
You don't see a lot of news people wearing that, but it feels like, I don't know, for some reason the leather jacket look kind of gives her more. It seems like there's more freedom there. I don't know, and
I mean, it's probably why Archie Adventures got her out of the jumpsuit as soon as possible.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because it is like very typecast, kind of like every day I'm on the news,
right? Exactly,
kind of thing. Even though she's on the news wearing a yellow jumpsuit, it's kind of weird. But anyway,
it is. Yeah,
I like your design, and I love the fact that the reason we're calling April is because they need damage control.
Right.
Like, they're calling to get this story off the damn news.
Yeah, because this is the last thing they need is they already Yeah, they already have people that are against them, as evidenced last season.
That is a dead ass reference to the stuff from last season and Dregg's whole political kind of campaign against the Turtles. Love that.
Yeah.
I love that they're sticking with that. Like, we can't have the public opinion. Like, we got rid of Dregg. We kind of exposed Dregg for what he is, but there's still a lot of people that believe what he said about us.
Right.
So we have to worry about our public image. And I actually really like that. I mean, that's a lot more, that's a lot deeper dive than we normally get from this show.
Absolutely.
So I really do like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's giving, this is a really clever way to give consequence to something where you don't want your characters to die. So one of the things about Game of Thrones, that everyone loved and it was that people died, like main characters could die at any second, things like that. And I know a lot of people liked Kamen Rider Gaim for a similar thing, that there were characters that could die at any second, and the writing was so good that you felt like there was consequence. And in a cartoon,
they played for keeps for sure.
Exactly, and
that's the hallmark of a great show.
In an animated series like this, where you don't want your cash cows to die, so obviously the turtles aren't going to die, but you could kill their image and their which could also be a detriment to them and meta, in a meta sense. But nevertheless, the fact that is on the line gives a sense of emergency and importance and weight.
Well, it just
I love it.
It's, and I said this back then, but it's the writers, in my opinion, writer at this point, and for the last seasons, it's really just been kind of the one writer show. But it giving honestly, it treats the audience like they're actually intelligent.
Yes.
it says like, well, you understand, right? Like how actually damaging this can be. And I think that part of it's because they knew they were talking to an older crowd at this point. Like, I don't think that they were trying to dumb down the show as much. So they kind of know, like, yeah, well, you understand what character assassination is and how that can be worse, maybe, than like, I'm going to beat you up today. Like, that actually this is more long term. And I just like it when the writers for cartoons treat the audience like they're not just like watching like Nick Jr. Like they actually like can understand complex stuff. And I just love the reference and the I guess the pressure from last episode to keep their public image as clean as possible while it's being destroyed is still present here. I think that's just a really cool nod, and once again it speaks to probably what the show should have been doing the entire time it was on.
Absolutely. So, to your point, the Turtles are calling April for damage control to try to see if she can pull some strings to make sure that this doesn't go live to TV, like this doesn't go on the air at 11 o'clock news or whatever. And unfortunately, April informs them that no, this is going out. Apparently, it's a live feed. So Leo's King Kong routine is being broadcast everywhere.
Yeah.
And So let's see. So. So Raph makes the joke about, well, maybe you should just call the Department of Animal Regulation. And, as he's doing that, we're seeing Leo head down an alleyway carrying Mikey along, like stringing him along effectively, which is great. Which, if you're going to make Mikey use the grappling hook, this is the kind of stuff that needs to be happening. So I'm going to give them this one because this is the kind of thing where you use it to great effect, and I love it. A lot more than as per typical Turtle Soup fashion. When I was watching it, I was like, but as I'm explaining it here on the show, I'm a lot more endeared to it, and so that's pretty neat. But it led to, and if you follow us on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, you'll see that I make the trailers for the episodes, and one of the shots that I got was the scene where the rope eventually breaks and Mikey ends up sliding into some garbage, and he just looks so dejected. Like the animation just shows him like there's some like really. And you know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, this is kind of one of those meta things where you don't want to think that these things are real, like that these are actors, because they're not, they're animation. But like if you want to like personify them.
Wait, what?
Hold on, baby bird. I'll feed you. So like this is the last season, and it looks like, you remember how we saw Donnie where he didn't look like he had arrived, or like he arrived too soon or whatever, and he just was not. He did not enjoy his travels.
Yeah.
And then Mikey here, they look tired, and
they do.
And I wonder if there's like some meta thing where like like
I like it.
I don't know.
I like it.
Like that's kind of nuts. So if we keep seeing this happen, that would be amazing. Yeah. I would be all about it. But anyway, so Mikey gets thrown into some garbage. Leo jumps up to one of the above ground rail cars, or trains as they call them in some places, and he hops on the train and takes off.
We just talked all about trains last episode, my man.
We did.
We don't need to go back over. I mean, some call it trains.
Right.
Stranger on a train, the band train. Ninjas on a train, snakes on a train.
Yep.
Thomas train tank engine. Girl on a train. You know what I'm saying? Runaway train.
The girl with the train tattoo.
We know all about it.
We know all about it.
You know what I'm saying?
And apparently the Turtles do too. So they take off in the van to follow the train to figure out where it's going, because I think they know the trajectory. So, Ryan, we cut back to space where we see Mung, and he's panting. I love that the closed caption had to let us know that he's panting. He's like, he's wanting Lord Dregg to turn on the TV and look at this. And we see, in fact, it is Channel 6 news. That it was not branded on the streets, but turns out Channel 6, one way or another, got their hands on this feed. And I love that this is that they're saying this is believed to be one of the infamous Ninja Turtles. Not Teenage Mutant, just infamous Ninja Turtles. And I
like that April's reaction was like, "Sorry, Raph, it's a live stream, man. It's just happening." So
yeah.
So okay, cool. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Go ahead, run that all over the news. Take the little live stream, cut it up, and because if you notice, this is like old footage of like Leo like busting apart the
gas
you know
station.
the gas station.
Yeah.
Well, that happened a while ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it that April couldn't even stop the replays from happening.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like,
but
run that. Go ahead and run that footage.
But this goes back to what we were saying in I think we were talking about it in the manga where April's well, even in the OVA when we reviewed that, April being about the news and the news being her like her forefront,
all about
like, it, her main objective. I can kind of see that here where she's like, guys, sorry, this one's gonna get me some ratings.
I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it
too.
I'm with it.
So, so Dregg sees this and he's like, okay, cool. Everything's going according to plan. I can use this. This is going to be great. And so he's really happy to see this. And then we cut to a factory. Oh, I'm sorry. Mung goes and prepares a shuttle, like another tiny little shuttle. Yeah. And so we cut down to a factory where it's just kind of one of those things where they're an establishing shot. And then it pans up to see a stark blue light just like coming downward trajectory to the horizon, and as if it was coming from space. Turns out it's a tiny ship, Brian. Tiny ship filled with a ton, if not a gajillion microbots. And they're just marching. And it's the cutest little, like, terrifying march you've ever seen. It's very reminiscent of the Gazelle when they were stampeding on Mufasa. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what the vibes.
What it looks like, yeah.
Those are the vibes I'm getting here, and somehow the same size ship presumably could fit one of those nanobots, but could also fit all of these in the same thing. So I don't know if they're using their budget very wisely for those tiny ships, but who knows? I mean, maybe since they're so small, I mean, you don't know.
Well, they're so cute.
They are so cute. So it's kind of worth. It's kind of worth it.
A lot of it's the cute factor. You know what I mean? True. Like you got to kind of just let it go.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of where you're at.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there for the cuteness. So, well, speaking of things that aren't cute, we get these micro. What do we call them? Microbots? Because I think in my notes I said nanobots like a million times just because I'm.
Yeah, they're Mung calls them microbots.
So okay, so we probably should stick to that. Yeah, microbots. So they end up making their way across this security guard who's watching television.
Yes.
And he makes this statement where he says, first it's roaches, now it's science. And I absolutely love this. I can't remember the context.
I love how this guy just can't be bothered with anything. He's like, if anything interrupts. So I love this. I'm a security guard because everyone gets this way with their job. You can't tell me that everyone does not eventually get to this point with their job where they go. At first you're like, oh yeah, like my job is like, I don't know, I'm a waiter. And you're like, at first you're like, oh man, my job is to like, you know, like, I mean, I deal with tough customers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a customer wants like, oh, takes a steak back one time, takes it second time, third time. I mean, that's my job. I mean, it's annoying, but I deal with those people. I'm an interface between them and the restaurant. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Eventually, most people get to an almost unrealistic level of like, I ain't gonna put up with this shit. Like, do you know what I mean? To the point where like, you'll hear, and we all do it, but you never hear yourself do it. You always hear other people do it. You have a friend who tells you a story sometimes, and they're like, you're like, oh, how'd work go? And they're like, all right, so this family comes in, okay, straight up, they come in, and so they all want drinks, classic. So, okay, so I'll get you the drinks, and you're in your head, you're going, isn't that what it always happens at a restaurant? Don't you?
Yeah, isn't that a thing? Yeah.
But there's a level of like, I don't want to put up with anything. It's like, yeah, and then guess what they do? They order two kids meals because of course they would because they have two kids, right?
Right.
I mean, like idiots. And you're like,
Goodness.
That sounds like they're doing the normal thing. Do you know what I mean? Everyone gets that way with their job. Everyone gets that point where they're like, I will not literally take anything I don't want to do, even if it is my job. That's what this guy has going on.
Oh,
this guy's job. He's like, at first he was like, you know what? I could do with anything, man. Like, you know, like if it's criminals, man. If it's like stray dogs, man.
Right.
If it's like just somebody looking weird, man. I can deal with all of it. That's my job. You know, I'm a security guard. At this point in his career, he's like, first it's roaches. Now it's science. Like, he doesn't care. Like, a guy could have walked in and be like, excuse me, I was just looking for directions. And he'd be like, well, of course this guy.
Yeah.
with the directions.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it feels like that.
That's the attitude he's
I know it's
giving,
kind of long.
the energy. No, but
That's the attitude I'm getting out of him.
Yeah.
I'm getting this like it could have been anything. It could have been like one. It started to rain outside. Well, first it's rain, and then you know what I mean. You're like, okay,
Yeah. I'm still trying
now
to
it's
figure out.
science.
I'm trying to figure out what accent you're giving this guy, because there's times where I think he's Australian, and then there's times where I think he's like some from New York.
So I'm not very good at accents. I keep going for New York, but I keep pulling it off into like a different accent.
Yeah.
But
There's times when you
that's
nail
also
it.
how. By the way, if you didn't know, Turtletarians, that's how you sound when you talk about your job.
Exactly, that is.
Like you think you have a normal accent, but your friends hear like I'm
Interpretation.
doing a perfect impression
Right.
of what everyone sounds like when they talk about their jobs.
There you
But
go.
You don't hear
That's
it.
You don't hear it. You don't hear it
'Cause
until
it's not you.
exactly. Yep. Goodness.
First, it's roach. No, I can't do it. Okay,
Yeah.
first, it's roaches. I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Go.
that's the energy that this dude's definitely given. You're not wrong. So
Yes.
he pulls a pistol out his pocket basically and is gonna blast these dudes. Like he's gonna start blasting or try to all these nanobots.
I started blasting.
These microbots. He's gonna shoot them all, and they make their way up his leg and they get onto his gun and basically what did they turn it into? Because like I my notes are kind of all over the place. Did they so they disassemble it basically, and so he can't. They're just like, yeah, we're just gonna take this apart, and that's amazing. I love that so much that these little things just go and they just take things apart. That's just like, do they have little tiny screwdrivers? Like what? Or are they just got little laser guns that like I don't know. I just want to know everything about these things.
No, it's really great.
So anyway, so he
could have just disassembled his hand, but
exactly
that was nice of them just to do the gun.
I know, and I love that. I love that they didn't mess with the organic material. Like they could have done, Ryan. They crawled up his leg. They could have done a lot more damage. And maybe we don't know. Maybe first it's roaches, now it's science. Like there could be something in the future.
Yeah.
We might see this guy later on, and he might be shooting guns like Mung's guys do. But So anyway, this dude is like, I'm out of here. So he takes off and leaves the microbots to basically have their way with this factory, and they turn it into a functioning laboratory essentially. And I'm a big fan of this. I love it because it just like microbots. It's like it's the science that you just throw it out there and you just you accept it. I know there's a term for that, but or there has to be, or a German word for it at least. But like, yeah, I do love it in a narrative because it expedites the story super quick. And so some people are probably wishing that we had microbots on the podcast to get us through it. But
probably
anyway, so yeah, they make this whole machine and in this set up this whole thing in that factory that we saw earlier. And yeah, once that's completed, they take off and head for the hills, Ryan. But at this point,
it's vacation time.
It is vacation time, at least for a moment. And but speaking of moments, we cut to the turtles having one, especially Leo. Mm-hmm. He is knocked out in what looks to be a sandbox, like in a park. That I really don't know what that is. Like
he's moping. So this reminds me of like the scene in Rocky Horror Picture Show where Janet finds Rocky just like hiding in like the little like tank he was created in.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Where he gets away from Frankenfurter and he's running around and then she hears him like whimpering in that little tank. And it's like, I guess that's where he's hiding. That kind of feels like what Leo's done. Leo's just laying in a sandbox, just like, murr, murr, murr. And it's like, what? Like, that's what happened with all your like energy and all your like you're supposed to be like a stark raving animal,
right?
Like, but he's just in a sandbox. He's
kind of like
his
just
emo self. You know
he's
what
just
I mean?
sad Hulk essentially. He's just moping and just
chilling.
So at this point, the turtles end up finding him, and they decide to go out and try to wrangle him for themselves. Now they have the thing that you put around the dog, like the animal's neck, like that long, like it's almost like a bow staff or the shepherd staff, but it's got an actual like leash kind of thing around it.
Yeah.
Mikey and Don. Yeah. Don has a net, and Mikey has just a really long rope again because that's his thing now, and they're ready to get them some Leo. Just then, as they're about to like, get the deadliest catch on, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ship,
sure.
Dregg's ship shows up, and they're like, oh snap, it's Dregg. And I love it so much because, like, for some reason, when Dregg rolls up, Mung, Mung's piloting the ship. He pops the cockpit just so you could see that it's him, and he looks and he just like smiles at him. And I'm like, they don't even know who you are, dude. Like, they don't even know you. And so, like, yeah. And Dregg and Mung's Batman creatures, or whatever they are there with guns ready to blast, blasting dudes. And yeah, the turtles, they're just like, they're making their jokes about how ugly the dudes are and whatnot. And Dregg's like, all right, yeah, start blasting them. And so the turtles are like, oh snap! So they take off and or try to get away, and all these like the gunfire. It's no longer the ammunition. They switched the ammunition. They were shooting. They're out of blank. They're out of whatever they were. The material they were. using. And now they're shooting.
They were spent. They were spent
That's
after their first encounter with high-tech. Now they're shooting lasers.
Exactly.
Shooting blanks, if you will.
And so Leo's just like hanging out, just like, all right, he's just chilling, just kind of relaxing. And still moping kind of, and eventually the explosions get close enough to him to where it irritates him, so he gets up and he just straight up just punches the ship, Ryan. And I love it so much that he's just like, just gives it a right hook just right there, and
he did, bah.
Yep, and puts a huge dent in the ship and sends some of the bat creatures flying out. And at that point they're like, let's get out of here. So Mung and Dregg are like, no, we're not messing with this right now. We've been off a little more than we can chew at the moment.
No.
And so Michelangelo gets so excited about this. He ends up running up to Leo to give him 3, and Leo just like punches him and sends him flying into the other turtles. And it's kind of like a sobering moment because they realize that this is some real stuff. Like, this is, I don't know, Ryan. We might not get to the end of this.
Leo's Leo's not back.
Yeah, like this is.
He didn't like snap out of it after his little like pity party, and then now he's on your side. It's like, no, he's not. Like he has attacked them because he was threatened.
Exactly, and it's interesting because as I'm finding this out or thinking this through as I'm reading it, reviewing it, the turtles here at this point in the episode, generally speaking, like in any other season besides Red Skies, they would have already been on the backside of like figuring out how to fix Leo, and then they'd be like retaliating, and that's not happening here. And you can look on their faces that they're distraught. They don't know.
I like it.
I love this. I love it so much, and I could be projecting a little bit more.
It's real consequences. It's good stuff.
It is.
It's good.
It is. And I'm really happy about it. Well, we cut back to James. Carter. Sorry. Anyway, he's in a diner, and he's still looking at that dot matrix printout paper, and he's trying to figure something out, Ryan. And here's a picture of it. We have an exclusive here. For those of you longtime Turtle fans, Turtletarian fans, podcast fans, whatever the hell I'm trying to say.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
I don't know. Turtletarians, man. That's all you got to say.
That's all we got to say.
You know what I mean?
You might remember the Future Internet Files. This is what some of them look like. They look like this. And if you can read this, then let us know. turtlesoupshow@gmail.com.
Make you a billionaire.
Exactly.
You know, if you can read a file.
And then you can buy us a bunch of tiny.
Like this. I wouldn't know it. Oh, a bunch of little tiny rocket ships?
Yeah, you could buy us a bunch of little tiny rocket ships, and that's probably what this is too.
Awesome.
So I don't know, but Carter's trying to figure this out, and he's still saying, "Well, maybe it wasn't my fault." Just then, Leo starts coming up on the like in the window, like the waitress can see him like just wreaking havoc coming up, and he just barges in, and Carter's still just like, "Oh, I'm still gonna be reading my my little sheet of paper, trying to figure this out." Well, Leo picks him up and throws him behind the counter, like he's Marty McFly or something. And he turns into Savage Dragon Big Bird, and they duke it out a little bit, and eventually Leonardo the turtles show up, and Leo gets wrangled finally because Leo's just tired, and it's just it's So the turtles finally get him, and they tie him up, and this is where they reconvene with Carter. And Carter apologizes for ducking out on them and being weird and whatever and all that.
Sorry, I was just gonna walk away and go back to college and not say anything.
Exactly.
Sorry, that was awkward.
And so he explains the situation, that he thinks that he knows what happened and how they could fix it or whatever, or at least like the problem. And so they decide to head back to the lair with Leo tied up in the back of the van. At this point, we cut back to April O'Neil, who is on the literal internet. Just as evidenced right here on her screen, it says the word internet. So she's there, and just as soon as we see her, the power goes out. She immediately picks up her phone, which is a like a house phone, like a corded, like a landline, and so and there's someone on the other end. Like, I don't even think it rang. I think she just picked it up. There's someone on the other end telling her she didn't even say anything either. She picks it up and they start telling her that they don't know when it'll come back on or what's wrong. She says that there's then after that she just says the power went out at the hydroelectric dam and no one's been able to contact anyone there. So she heads out to the dam. And so now I guess
really fast. The guy on the other end later on, when he told his friends about what happened that day, he was like, all right, so I work at the building, right? And I'm the maintenance man. And I'm the only one on duty, right? And they're like, yeah, that's your job. He's like, yeah. And so the power goes out and then the phone rings because some girl picked it up. Now I know what she's gonna say. She's gonna say the power's out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But of course, that's what she says. She says the power's out. And I don't know why.
Right.
Like, why, when I'm the maintenance man and I'm in charge of the building power, would you call me and tell me or ask, why is the power out?
Right.
Isn't that annoying? Like, some people are so shitty.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
Who does that?
Who, like, has the power go out in the building and go, I'm going to call the maintenance man and see why the power's out?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that guy said later.
That's exactly what he said later. Yep. Exactly. He sounded just like that, too.
Yeah. He was like, you won't even guess what happened when the water wasn't working.
Right.
They told me it wasn't working.
They told me. That's what they told me.
They come to me. Of all the people in the world, I'm the only. They come to the maintenance man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you thinking?
Exactly. What are you thinking? And what is April thinking? Just doing that. She's a news reporter. She should know better. But as per her news reporter self, she is going to go throw herself in the thick of it. She's going to figure out what's going on. So she heads to the dam, the hydroelectric dam. And she runs inside to find two people encased in some sort of, like, tube or, like, I don't know, cell.
It's a glass case of emotion.
And it is a glass case of emotion. That is exactly what that is. And so, and they're screaming for help. But she just decides to duck in a hallway, which I would probably do the same thing. If I came into a room and saw two people in a glass case of emotion, I'm going to go hide and find out I'm going to assess the situation before I go and try to assist.
Maybe they met their hero LeVar Burton and they're in like a glass case of emotion moment. Right. I'm not going to meet him.
Right. You can't disappoint a picture. Hero. Exactly. Same.
Can't disappoint a picture.
I wouldn't go on Jeopardy. No, not now. Never.
No.
I mean, Trebek, I could probably done it. But
sure.
But he demands the same respect that LeVar does. But still, the something about LeVar, like just can't.
Maybe that's what happened.
It is. And so at this point, April's hiding behind a brick wall in this building, the dam. And she's just like checking out what's going on. In fact, what the heck is going on? And so at this point, the microbots make a hole in the wall, and they form some tentacles after coming in and like doing some other stuff like in the room. And it's kind of strange. So April's like, okay, well, I'm going to leave those two people in that glass case of emotion and go check out what these nanobots are doing. Outside, she finds that they have formed some tentacles that are like kind of just squiggling and wiggling. And eventually, like, they end up like making their way to the power lines. and she deduces with her keen, investigative reporter instincts that whatever's going on, I'll bet I'll find the answer at the end of these cables. And so, yeah, she proceeds to follow the power lines. So at this point, let's see, the cables make their way to the factory that we saw earlier, where the guy was like sick of roaches in science. April opens the door to find that Dregg and Mung are. Wait, why am I getting his name mixed up? It's Mung, right? Mung.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says that they're like connecting all this stuff, and the wires come in that the microbots have made. So they're connecting it, and now they're getting all their stuff working, and it's kind of neat. I kind of like how it just comes together full circle like that. April's witnessing all of this, and turns out this is their vortex transporter that they are powering up, and April is Dregg is pontificating about how he's going to transport something very special to Earth. We don't know what this is, and if I'm not mistaken, we don't find out what this is yet. But he's telling us that's what he's going to do. And so at this point, April calls the Turtles to inform them of the situation, that it's an emergency, and that they need to get there now. And as she's telling them this, and this is kind of neat because I don't think we've seen it like this before, but in the turtle van, there's actually what is effectively a turtle com, but it's inlaid into the console of the turtle van, and I think that's kind of neat. Yeah, I like it. Instead of just sitting on the dashboard like it has been in the past. But in typical fashion, like when she gets caught, the signal goes away, and the Turtles deduce that she's in trouble. So they say that Leo's going to have to wait as he's tied up hilariously in the back seat, and they're going to have to figure him out later. So they make their way. They're on their way to this factory where April and Dregg and Mung are. And at this point, April's been caught, and she's being hauled over to this vortex transporter by the Batmen for, because I still don't think they've given them a name yet. At this point, we see Dregg. I believe that's Dregg. Put the crystal, the full crystal, not the little shard, but the actual one he made, onto the power source, I guess, of this machine. And he tells her that he's gonna send. Where does he say he's gonna send her? Because he keeps changing his destination, but yeah. Anyway, he says that that it's gonna be
the other end of the universe.
The other. That's it. That's it. So thank you. So anyway, so April gets placed on this thing, gonna send her to the other end of the universe, and he's about to do it, and just then, Ryan, the Turtles bust in, Kool-Aid Man style, through the wall.
Oh, they do.
I love this so much because they don't normally. I don't think they normally do that. They would normally, pull up to the side of it and run in, which seems a little bit more like a thing a ninja would do. But I am here for the whole Turtles bust in and fight that instead of sneak up and fight that. So yeah, they come in Kool-Aid Man style.
They definitely they kind of like A-team it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That's exactly what they. That's exactly what what the A-team would do. Just drive through the wall.
Oh, totally. And so they get out and run towards the bad guys, and Dregg's like, "Oh no, the Turtles," which is weird seeing him like this. But I'm wondering if he has some sort of PTSD again from seeing them.
Oh, I guarantee you he does. They wrecked his face, and then what's his name came down, the big badass alien.
Oh, Doomquest.
That he was terrified of. Doomquest came out. And he's like, "Oh God!" And yeah. So, I think he's probably got a little PTSD.
It seems like he does. And so the bad guys start blasting, and at this point we see that Mung is working away at something. Like he's doing a lot of bleeps and bloops and whatnot. And it looks like he's getting his microbots to manifest something, but we don't see it quite yet. But the Turtles are caught in their fight with lasers and stuff, and they're doing their typical thing that they've done pretty much ever since the Red Skies began, which is duck and cover. You know what I'm saying? Until they can mutate. Yeah, at this point, Donnie and Mike are like getting blasted, and Donnie calls for a fastball. And Mikey, and what this entails, and I think this is the first time we've seen this, Mikey does a full-on like baseball pitch with his grappling hook, and he throws it low and outside. Donnie hits it with his bow staff, and this causes it to go around, like the trajectory to go out and around the bat guards or whatever they are, a la the ATs at on Hoth, essentially. Knocking them out and like knocking their feet out from underneath them. And so, but the Turtles don't have a lot of time to celebrate this victory because at this point, the devil robot that the microbots made for Mung has fully manifested, and he looks badass. He looks like Rex 1's cousin that's like got one chromosome too many probably and is just ready to like
Just like Rex 1's like corn-fed cousin. Like you think Rex 1's badass, and you go to like the family barbecue.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, meet my cousin." You're like, "Oh, are you
exactly
like he's that guy."
Right. Exactly.
It's a whole nother ball game.
You don't want to mess with him. He is bad news, and he's got this big old gun. You know what I'm saying? Because they all do. Mm-hmm. And at this point, Carter's mutated into Savage Dragon Birdman. Big Bird, whatever his name is, and
one name is as good as another.
Exactly. And so he jumps on his back and is trying to distract the devil robot. And at this point, Donatello's
pulling the old like Wolverine on the Sentinel. Routine right now.
Oh yeah, but to a far less effect than
way less effective. Yeah,
but I don't recall seeing those huge spikes protruding out of his back before. I don't remember if those were there or not, or if that's a new thing or what. But I mean, but then again, I also have never been a fan of. I always try to ignore.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to check out like big Savage Dragon Big Bird that much.
That's true. So, Donnie, while the giant devil robot is being distracted, Donatello's like, "Cover me! I'm gonna cut this dummy down to size," and he gets a blowtorch and a helmet that's just right there, that's readily available. Yeah. And he starts like going at the dude's legs, just trying to like get him out from under him. And this works. And this thing looks so evil. I love it. How could something so tiny and cute, like a million of them, make something so evil? Who knows? But jokes are made, and they stand around this creature, and or this machine, and like all they did was take out its legs, Ryan. It's still got a gun. It's not like it's like I can't use my legs, so I can't shoot.
Yeah.
So it starts blasting at them, and eventually they run, and the turtles fall, and Carter does too, right in front of Mung and his bat dudes, and they're kind of like just in a bad place. This is not good this is not a good look for the turtles or Carter.
No,
well, none of Carter's looks are really a good look. So.
Good point.
Mung opens up another canister of these microbots, and they end up like, and I'd be terrified too if I was like, Carter's a man of science, and so is Donatello. Like, I would be terrified. Like, what are these things going to do to me? Thankfully, all they do is create some shackles for them so that Dregg can overcome his PTSD and like go in front of the turtles and with confidence and tell that let them know that they're going to be placed on the transport with the girl. And so they do that.
I really want to say that
go ahead.
At one point, I'm pretty sure that after all this happens, Dregg probably had like a jerk store moment, like later on that night after this all ends. He's like laying in bed and he goes, I should have just had them disassembled molecularly.
Right.
That would have ended that. I could have just said like, Mung, take them apart.
Yeah.
Molecularly.
Exactly.
And they're all dead.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what where did I come up with the shackles?
Right.
Why the shackles, and then use the transporter to transform them across the universe?
Right.
When I could have just taken them apart piece by piece.
Right. And you would think,
damn.
Right.
And that's the end of it.
Exactly. And you would think that Dregg would want to do something, because I would imagine like, being disassembled molecularly would be dull and it would hurt more. So I would think that that's what he would want. But no, he just wants to use that transporter. Like he's just like he's very see, I think this is more indicative of his character that we were expecting to find, is that he's very he's got a lot of blinders on and he's very singular vision. Like he's got a singular vision right now.
Yeah.
He didn't have time to have the H.A.V.O.K and Mung. He couldn't have two friends. He had to have just one
for some reason.
Reason. And he wanted to do the vortex thing, and that's what he was going to do. And anything else, like this, he can't handle it. So
no.
But the one thing he can handle is coming up with different destinations to send the vortex and those things that are on it too. And at this point, he's ready to send Carter, 3 of the 4 Ninja Turtles, and April O'Neil to the center of the sun, Ryan. And we live in Florida, you and I, and it's probably the second hottest place close to...
We already basically live in the center of the sun, yeah.
Precisely. Yes, exactly. And so at this point, and this is, I really like this, Leo burst out of the van, and he is pissed. He is not happy. And yeah, so he comes out, and he is just wrecking everybody. And so yeah, he ends up getting like he wrecks all this stuff, and then he ends up going over to Dregg, and he kind of like gets a little weakened or like he's tired or something. And
well, remember at this point, like he's taken 1 million laser blasts.
That's true.
From like Mung and like the Batman alien guys.
Right.
So when he gets like point blank and like Dregg shoots him like in the chest like 5 times, he then like starts to weaken.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he took a lot of action before that. Like a ton of shots.
Yeah. And so so I'm sorry, I jumped ahead, but you're right. That's exactly what happens. And so then but he fights the devil robot thing and throws it through the ceiling.
Yeah, he just gets back up.
Yeah, who just gets back up like he didn't see, now I'm thinking about it. He probably had nanobots fix his leg.
Microbots probably fixed
microbots.
Him.
That's probably what it was.
Smart. Yeah.
And so so that makes a lot more sense. Well, anyway, he ends up going in front of Dregg, and he ends up just falling down. Like he's just kind of like weakened, and they send a microbot to go and get like what I thought was hair for some reason, because it kind of looks like hair. It doesn't.
No, it's part of his spiky shell bit.
It's his shell. It's part of his spiky shell, and they get the littlest bit of it, and and I got a picture of it actually. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. And it's just so tiny, and they get that, and the bad guys are like, all right, we're out of here, and but before they go, Carter goes over to the transporter and does something. Like, or actually, no. After they go, he does it. He goes over there and does it, and and we don't know really what that is unless we'll see it in a second. But at this point, the Turtles and Carter and April and Leo make their escape in the turtle van because they're all free now, and they get in the van, which is still beat up, by the way, and I'm a huge fan of that. So they get in, and as they take off, the whole factory explodes, and I believe that's probably what Carter did. Which I don't know.
Yeah, there's a panel, like you see him go to like one of the panels that controls it, and you see a thing that says like vortex crystal overload. Like you see what he does.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking that like he was doing something to affect where Dregg was going to go. And I guess the reason I thought that is because that is usually how the animated series would do it, where it's like, oh, the bad guys are transporting somewhere. Well, I'm going to send them somewhere else. And then it's like, oh, they end up on an island or some weird place. And so, anyway, so after that explosion happens, we cut back to the Dreadnought. And I really enjoyed this part because Mung, who is first day on the job, Ryan, like he is
first day on the job.
He's afraid, and Dregg looks menacing. Like he looks like he's not like having a good day. And so Mung is like humbly like apologizing and saying, "Forgive me, Lord Dregg," and all that. And Dregg's like, "Why are you apologizing? I got this piece of mutated turtle shell, and so I can literally I can do the same thing. Like I can do all this stuff with this, and I can replicate I got a piece of the crystal too, so I can replicate the nanobots and then replicate the crystals." And he just goes on to this whole thing where he's like, "I can build 2 and this and that." And he's like, "This was all part of my plan." And
That's all he wanted out of this end game was like, I need a piece of that turtle shell.
yep,
I need a piece of the crystal, and I need one nanobot to
yep,
construct more nanobots, and I'm good. I
exactly.
love that part.
Oh yeah,
That was
and
badass. I love that.
exactly. And so, back in the lair, I was not expecting this at all. We see a wooden cage in the lair, Ryan, that's got
Yep.
chains
Yep.
all around it. It looks like whatever's in there is about to call some people mama. You know what I'm saying? Like they're babies. You're thinking
No,
that's
you're
where it's
right.
gonna
That
go.
does look like a Shredder's little playpen from movie 2.
Exactly.
For
And
sure.
so it's a little creepy. It's a little weird to see that in the lair. I don't know how I feel about it yet. But basically, Carter's there, the 3 turtles are there, and then Leo is inside of this wooden cell.
Yes.
And the turtles are like, "Hey, Carter, what are you doing? I thought you were going to go away to college." And so Carter's like, you know what? No, I'm probably going to stay and help with find a cure for Leo's mutation, considering that
Yeah.
I didn't notice the future internet files that showed like the spike.
It's on me.
It's
He's
on me.
basically running that. It's on me. It's on me.
Right.
My bad. I guess I'll stick
Exactly.
around and help fix it.
Precisely. And
That's
so
solid.
that's pretty neat that he's doing that. And then they have a sign up there that says "Do not feed the mutant," and that's where the episode kind of ends, and that's it. So
what I'll say about this off the bat is that, the 87 anime series isn't always anyone's like favorite. A lot of times it's not everybody's favorite thing.
yeah,
But I think here, from a writing perspective, I think you can really see the actual difference. We talk about how we love like overarching storylines. We
right.
hate bottle episodes, and we talk about and if you have to ask, I think on the surface of your thoughts, you think, well, okay, so why do I love serialized stuff? I think you think, well, because like it's a better story.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like it's just it's a better story, and consequences have actions have consequences that last a while, and you get to live in your mistakes and live in your successes, and it's like a whole
Yeah.
thing. But what I don't think that you maybe think about that this kind of brought to my head when I was kind of watching it, brought to my mind, not to my head. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to start speaking like I'm somewhat civilized. What it brought to mind is the fact that you also get innumerable benefits from not having to put the turtles back right where you found them
Yeah.
at the end of an episode,
Yeah.
so they can start out next week the same exact way, like nothing ever happened.
Right.
So, for example, all the little stuff with like, one microbot becomes 2 microbots, becomes, all that stuff, all the stuff with like Dregg's like master plan, all the little stuff about like, Carter like wanting to go and, go to college, and all these little things.
Yeah.
Like the April storyline, where they're like, April, help cover for us. And April's like, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Run that news. And then she's
Right.
like, well, I guess I'll help because the power went out and it affected me. So now I'll go help. All that little stuff, man. Imagine if they had to instead, what would they drop from this episode if instead they had to also find a way to cure Leo this episode?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What dumb kind of rough writing would you have? What kind of okay, cool. So I guess they're gonna find the secret because they have to have him normal by the end of the episode.
Right.
Instead, when you end with it on this cliffhanger, not only do you draw people in to watching more and they want to see more to see what happens, but you don't have to waste time putting all your toys back in the box. Like,
right.
So the episode's better because of that. If you think that these episodes have to be 22 minutes long in and out, that's it. Like, you can spend those 22 minutes, you can spend 7 of them fixing, putting your toys back, or you can just tell a better story in that 7 minutes. Exactly. And that's, I think, what you see in this episode, right? Like, is that you're able to leave it off where it is. I gotta be honest, when Leo got mutated like that, I did not think they were going to leave him like that at the end of the episode.
I didn't either.
I guess I
totally didn't.
I'm too I guess trained or traumatized by the bulk of 87 to think that they would just be like, we're kind of a monster now. That's our brother. We gotta keep him in a cage. It's a little bit like that person in the zombie movie that like keeps their like loved one, like their daughter or their like wife, like in the closet when they're a zombie.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I keep her chained to the radiator because we'll find a cure. And you're like,
Yeah, what?
and then inevitably it's like, and also I feed people to her.
Right.
Is that cool? Oh
Yeah.
wait, I'm a monster.
Yeah.
But understand, that's my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
feed.
exactly what
I
this
don't feed
is.
good people. I
Right.
feed
They're
bad
bad
people.
people. They're bad people, of
I
course.
feed
Yeah.
the people that come to rob me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like but yeah, but that's simply kind of the stuff you get, and I think it's really cool that that they don't have to, that they don't have to fix it,
Yeah. Yeah.
that they can
Definitely.
just tell more story. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's such an obvious thing, but
Yeah.
it it is a fundamental mechanic of why these seasons are just better,
Right.
hands down. Is
Oh yeah.
more time to tell more story that's just better than it
Mm.
would have been.
Right.
So
And
I liked it a lot for that reason.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And again, like this is a reaction to Batman the Animated Series. That's what this
Yes,
is.
100%.
And
Yep.
the Turtles, I always like. I generally think of the Turtles as a '90s property, but no, they had like the 2-3 years in the '80s as far as the cartoon it
Mhm.
goes. You know that they were. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's substantial, and so but they typify a lot of that late '80s, early '90s animation writing
Well, I
tropes.
think that's where they got that's where they got behind, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like they were born in an era where cartoons literally were mainly toy moving things.
Right.
It was about the episode of the week. It didn't matter, right? It didn't matter if the story, right? Like no, some of them broke that. So some
Yeah.
like things like that were usually based on more mainstream ideas that had been around a lot longer, or a
Mm.
mainstream comic series, like would bring that to you back then. So like things like G.I. Joe, right? Like they definitely have more storyline than like Turtles did,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
week to week, because they had like movies where like the storyline got advanced,
Uh,
right?
G,
Where
yeah, GI Joe did a couple of things where they had multi-parters. So they had like the Mask
yeah.
Device, which was like 3 parts or 5 parts or something, and then
Mhm.
like a couple of other ones, the Weather Dominator, and then that was a few things. But they also fell victim to the one-off episodes. But like they had a lot more.
Yeah,
Turtles really only had a handful of like multi-part episodes, like that I
I
can
know.
recall. And so, but GI Joe had a lot more than that.
But I think I was just kind of trying to buttress your point on the fact that like, you know, yes, they existed largely through the '90s, and when you think of like, you know, Turtles and Turtle Mania,
Mhm.
you think of the '90s, the early
Yeah,
'90s when the movie came out and all that stuff, and even the second movie in '91. You think
right.
about that era for them, '90 to '92 maybe, but they got started before that.
Yeah.
And the show wears the age of having started before that.
Hmm.
The fact that in their time they were able to start in '87 and do what they did, and they had that kind of rough start or whatever, but the fact they were able to like in their life the lifespan of the show come around and try to like make up for it now and try to
Hmm.
sync up with the next generation of children's animation and
Yeah,
cartoons is pretty pretty amazing
it
and
is.
pretty cool that they went on that long
Oh,
to be able to even
absolutely.
try.
Yeah, yeah. And like it's funny because like I think about things. Like I was thinking today about certain uh, things that were in my life 10 years ago, and where I was at 10 years ago, and how like
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it like that, but then if you think about, well, we're in 2021. It's like, well, then
It
10
took
years
Eric a
ago,
hot minute to know what year it was.
I know,
Eric's like,
because
we're
I'm like
in
2021. Like that sounded like I was saying two.
220.
Remember, math on the mic doesn't work.
Yeah,
Numbers on the mic in
math on
general
mic
don't
doesn't.
work.
Numbers on
So
the mic, no, they don't work.
no numbers. Just keep, unless you're reading straight on it. Don't pull it from the dome.
No,
But yeah.
don't
So
mutate.
but thinking about it like looking at the years like on paper, like 2021 to
Mhm.
2011 is like that sometimes doesn't feel like that big of a deal, but when you think about
Yeah.
like the people and other things that weren't here and there and like shows and things,
Oh yeah.
that's drastic. And this is where we're at, Ryan. Like well, technically it's 96, but like it's effectively like 97, and 87 is when the show started,
Hmm.
so there's 10 years in there.
No,
And
it's like full on 10 years, and there's been a ton. I gotta say from the start of the journey, I will say that like I'm very happy that this wrapped up this way.
Oh
I
yeah, the
didn't
way it's going.
know.
You mean?
You were
Yeah.
the one. I know that like the whole conceit of the show was that you had been through a lot of this stuff and you'd maintained that kind of that turtle fandom for a lot longer, like into the 2000s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like many children, like all in on the late 80s, early 90s part of it. I mean, turtle. I was turtle obsessed. But when the first wave died, so did my interest. Right, like I moved on to other stuff.
Right.
So you would step through a lot more than I ever have. And part of the conceit of our entire approach was like, you've seen more of it
Yeah.
and I want to see it. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if either one of us were totally prepared for like how this was going to wrap up. Like,
yeah, no.
So, yeah. So it feels like I want to avoid every episode us like eulogizing the 87 animated series at the end of all like 8 of these episodes. Because it sounds like that's where we're headed.
It sounds like where we're headed, but this is the first time we've done it. This is our first toe into the final time that we're gonna ever in our entire life watch
for
this
sure
animated series.
I think
all the way through.
Yeah. I think that this episode, so just on its own merit, I think this episode definitely sets up a good number of things that we can look forward to. So I think that's how this episode has to be judged, because it is like, just like these Red Skies, all these Red Sky seasons, the first episode's like kind of your conceit, right? Like you got your characters laid out, you kind of know where we're going. I really like Dregg as a villain. He's really great again, because he's not a buffoon.
He's not a buffoon.
He thinks about things.
He does.
And so I'm excited about it. I think the episode was really good.
And Mung came out up. Like Mung came out being like a lot better than I thought he was gonna be. He seemed like his design and like everything set up with him, probably with the exception of his animosity with the H.A.V.O.K. That aside, it felt like this is gonna be, we're making a toy of this guy. We got to put him in an episode, and then he's gonna be gone, and we don't have to deal with him anymore. That's what we're so used to seeing, and the fact that he's still here. And that Dregg was like, oh no, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. Things are going according to plan. Yeah. I'm like totally here for that. And I really enjoy that this is not like, and in a way and I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but he gave me Star Wars vibes. Like this is something that you would see like this ancillary character come in and he's affecting the giant plot, but like he's a small part of it. And I don't know, it just felt a lot like that to me. And it's one of the things that I enjoy about Star Wars, that it's nice to see that and hear in a way. And so I was really impressed by this, and I'm really sad that it's going to be the end, but it is what it is.
Hey, you know what? Like don't think about. Look, can I drop a splinter one to close us off?
Please do.
Don't mourn the water that passes you by. Enjoy the water you currently sit in.
There you go.
And that's it.
That's it. Well, speaking of being that's it for our show tonight. So thank you so much to everyone who's been watching online and in the chat and everything. We appreciate you so much.
For sure.
And thanks for those of you listening on the podcast version. We sincerely appreciate y'all as well. If you tell us, we want to know what y'all think. Did y'all like Mung? Do y'all have nanobots? Can y'all give us some? Do y'all have a tiny spaceship that you can put things in to fly?
If you have I feel like that's the next thing Mike Hatfield's going to do. He's like,
oh yeah.
Gonna send an email like, what up guys? So I bought you a tiny spaceship.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So do you have a tiny spaceship we can borrow?
Yeah. Let us know.
I don't know who will fly it. We're not tiny, but we'll figure it out.
But we'll figure it out. But do you have a gun that shoots stuff that looks strange? Let us know. Do that by turtlesoupshow at email.com. Ryan, oh my God, I said email.com.
Do that by turtlesoupshow at mail. At email? Is that what you said? What'd you say? I
said at email.com. So I said
email.com.
Do that at turtlesoupshow at email.com. In my defense, Gmail and email is not too far off. But goodness, you'd think after 261 episodes of this, this would be easy as whatever, but it's not. Turtlesoupshow at gmail.com.
And they call you Easy.
They do.
That's your nickname.
That's my nickname. But who knows?
You're gonna make it look so easy now.
Nope, not now. But there's that. Go to the home of the internet, Turtle Soup Show at God dang it, I did it again. TurtleSoupShow.com, and that's
Do
where all
you
of our
need me to
episodes up.
step
I
in right
might
now?
need you to tag in because I'm just like I can't do it.
Turtle
But,
Soup at gmail.com. That is the hotline. Yo,
yeah.
that is how you get the shell phone rings, as Eric famously said, and that is true.
I did.
We are on all the socials. You know what I'm saying? Facebook group popping, new toy news, figure news, other random crap. You know what I'm saying? Like your wife Shannon threw in the turtle vanilla pies, the turtle pies.
Oh
That's
yeah, the
always
turtle
great to
pies.
see.
Oh yeah.
So we're on that. We're on Instagram, Turtle Soup Show. You can always any podcast aggregator that you listen to us on. If you listen to audio, definitely like rate, review, and subscribe. That really helps our visibility.
It does.
If you're on YouTube, check out that out, man. Please subscribe, like the video, share it, and get your notifications on so you know when we're live. We're live every Thursday night at 8 Eastern. So that's a thing.
Yep.
And if you like to go I just want just a little more. Then you can go to Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Patreon.com. Help support the podcast as little as $1 a month. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of really exciting stuff on the way. We had a meeting of the minds this last Saturday. Went up to our old sandwich joint. It was like old times. I ate a sandwich that was way too big. I drank 3 huge sweet teas and was still out of drink. We were there for like 5 hours. At the end of it, we had launched many awesome plans. So there is new stuff that we're working on for Patreon, and there is just new stuff in general, which includes we have a merch shop, but we want to make a better one.
Right.
And that's another thing we're working on. So there's a lot of stuff we want to do and stuff we're really on track for. So especially Patreon. Patreon's going to get Wang Dang Doozled. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's making its way.
Slam Bam style Western wrestling
Yeah.
pretty soon. So get on Patreon and check it out. You know what I'm saying? And see what's going on.
And like with our Patreon, we reserve the right to add or take away whatever you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, you're gonna know some things. Like there's some things that are for certain, but you might get some surprises.
Yeah.
And I think two of our patrons this time are gonna get some surprises that I didn't tell them they were gonna get. But
I mean, random acts of kindness.
Exactly.
Precisely. We're big fans.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm saying? So that's.
Be on the lookout, and you were randomly selected, and but we had some extra things that were that had some issues, but they were still viable, and I'll just leave it at that. Keep it ominous, and yeah. So there you go. That's the kind of thing you can look forward to. One of the other perks of being a patron and supporting the show. So, well, Ryan, thank you for picking up my slack because I don't know what was happening.
Hey,
I was saying email.com.
email.com.
So, all right, well,
email.com.
So, all right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Else time.